లింగు పైన కొట్టావా నీకు అది లింగు కొట్టుకోరా
ఇది మనకు అవసరం లేదు మినిమైజ్ చేసేసి కానీ ఇట్లా కాదు ఓకే
యాభై 65 లింక్ చేసాం లింక్ కొట్టు పాస్వర్డ్ అడుగుతాయి 75
మినిమైజ్ చేసి అక్కడికి వెళ్ళాలి కదా కదా
चाय पे जाओ
Post with this with you.
సినిమా వాళ్ళంతా మన దాంట్లోకి ఎందుకు వచ్చారు? సినిమా వాళ్ళు, యాక్టర్లు, డైరెక్టర్లు, హీరోయిన్లు అందరూ వచ్చారే. వాళ్ళు అక్కడ ఈడీకి పోవాలి కదా, ఎన్ఫోర్స్మెంట్ డైరెక్టరేట్ వాళ్ళు పిలిచారు కదా. వాడు రామారావు, hello, am I audible?
So shall we start?
No, who are the experts have come?
Sir.
Professor Sudhakar
Sir,
is
yes, sir.
available?
Yes, sir. Sudhakar sir is there and
Hello.
Sandeep
Yes.
sir also there, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, sir. Welcome, Mr. Sandeep B.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, sir.
Professor Sudhakar, thank you very much. Welcome to the session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, thank you very much for joining us.
I request all the participants to mute yourself.
Who is the other guest who is supposed to join? Anybody is there?
Sir, for the current session.
Yes, Sudhakar ji and also Sandeep Budhiraj. Very nice. Very nice, very nice. Also, all the members have joined. How many members have joined? 93.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I think you can start the program. Already 5 minutes late, no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let us start the session, please.
Good evening to all dignitaries, guests, delegates, faculty members, and dear students to the second day of International Marketing Conclave on Reimagining Marketing in the New Normal. Yesterday, the session started with a welcome address by our director, Professor P. Narayana Reddy. We had an insightful talk by Chief Guest, Professor Tappan Kumar Panda, Director, MMS University, Hyderabad. Guest of honor, Ms. Rima S. Kundanani, Board Advisor, Cell.2. Professor Tappan Kumar Panda highlighted on the skills required for a marketer during the COVID times, and he also emphasized on the skills that are required like inquisitiveness, flexibility, multi-lensing, empathy, experimentation, storytelling. And further, he touched upon the trends in marketing like resilience, EGS framework, and digital disruption, and so on. The session was really interesting and maybe having a lot of insightful information. Ms. Rima S. Kundanani highlighted the difference between pre and post-COVID changes in the 7S of marketing. The session was informative as well as knowledgeable. The inaugural session was followed by the technical session. Today, we have two panel discussions with 5 speakers giving their deliberations, followed by the technical session. Now, I take the pleasure to welcome our panel speakers for the session, Dr. G.P. Sudhakar, the chairman of the panel discussion, Professor, Center for Educational Social Studies, Bangalore, and Mr. B. Sandeep, Senior Director, Asia Pacific, Country Head, MMR, India. May I request Ms. K. Gaya, Assistant Professor, Srividyaniketan Institute of Management, to introduce the panel speakers for session 1.
Thank you, madam. Good afternoon to all. It gives me immense pleasure to present the profiles of chairperson and speaker of today's panel discussion. We have Dr. G.P. Sudhakar as a chairperson, who is an accomplished academic administrator with 8 years of experience in managing postgraduate business programs and proven track record of building new MBA programs and developing business school brands, having Mite Group, Manipal Group, Wellington, and Surana College. He has over 50 years of experience teaching at business schools, backed by 2 decades in the industry in companies such as Hyderabad Alvin, Rank Aqua, SCA Industries, and Jai Krishna Aluminium. Research focus on the retail industry with a PhD in management studies from Osmania University, Hyderabad, and a consistent record of publications in academic and industry. We welcome you, sir. And today we have a panel speaker is Sandeep Buddhiraja, Senior Director, Asia Pacific and Country Head for MMR. Sandeep has worked across a wide spectrum of industries covering FMCG, services and media-led and supported activation initiatives by driving workshops on brand and communication tracking, NPD and innovation, communication development and testing for large CPG sector and services sector clients. His key strength is in making research matter by addressing core business issues to deliver actionable business direction, managing impossible deadlines and foreseen situations or key competencies. His expertise in branding, brand equity, new product development, brand communication. He was a visiting faculty at Great Lake Institute in India. He was taking full courses on brand management, advertising, and advanced market research. We welcome you, sir, and over to Christina.
Thank you, Keha. May I request Dr. G.P. Sudhakar, panel chairman, to take over the session. Please, sir.
Namaste, friends. First of all, my sincere thanks to Dr. Narayana Reddy Garu, Director of the Institute and also the Treasurer of the Association of Management Schools. Thank you very much, sir, for the opportunity. What has happened with COVID, one of the things is we have now got into more of conferences which are online than which are offline. And so I'm going to reduce the length of my talk because I believe that that will be a better thing in such an environment. So this is one of the other changes is that unlike in a classroom, we might have shorter talks, and that's a good thing. That's a positive impact. So anyway, today I'm planning to share my thoughts about consumer behavior and marketing in the post-COVID world. Can you hear me? Is there a problem?
Audible, sir. Sir, you are audible, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I am planning to just talk a little bit about my thought, the things that have happened in consumer behavior and therefore how marketing might change after COVID. So if you look at even the earlier pandemics, there is research to prove that after every pandemic or any, it may be a world war, it could be 9/11, whatever. So every such event has created some changes in behavior of people. Okay, so that is what research tells us, and I'm sure post-COVID also the similar changes in behavior is likely to happen. Changes at a very basic, at the level of our beliefs. Okay. And as marketing people, even one change or one segment of the market changes its behavior, then we have to start thinking about new products, new maybe positioning, maybe looking for new markets or looking for new segments. So all of this will definitely happen once there is a change in behavior. So my belief is that a lot of marketing will change. And of course, my talk is not based on any strong research study. It's based on what I have seen, heard, and read over the last, say, 1 year. Okay. We are in a transition. Just now, if you say we cannot predict so much about the future, we are still in a transition. In fact, in some of the countries, like just now, US is probably the center of COVID just now, and India is having some kind of a break. We don't know whether it's like a completion of COVID or whether it's just a small break. So why I'm telling you so much is what I'm going to say further, we have to take it with the understanding that things can change. So there may not be much accuracy. However, based on the past, we can always the future some kind of a direction. It gives us some way to look at. So how has consumer behavior changed? So even before we get into consumer, let us look at what has happened in the area of demographics. Okay, in some of the advanced countries, or the total world, I think more than 30 lakh people have died. Okay, 30 lakh people, most of them are senior citizens. So in some countries, the ratio between senior citizens and young people has changed. Okay, so the number of old people has reduced significantly in some countries. Of course, in India, it's not so bad. But there is a concept nowadays, they talk about something called excess mortality. That means if you look at the last 5 years, what was the average number of people who died in a country? And in the last 2 years, what has been the increase? So in some countries, this increase in mortality is excess mortality or additional mortality is 40%. Okay, so it's a very big number. So why I'm talking about this is a significant change in demographics. And demographics definitely will impact everything to do with marketing. In India, of course, it is not 40% and not so significant. We don't know whether it is because of underreporting or is it because how we are reporting the cause of death. So until the cause of death is given as COVID, then the numbers will be lower. The important thing is that in India, we have seen other kinds of demographic changes. Work from home, it has become a big thing now. People have started working from their hometowns. Migrant labor come back to their home states, and when they come back, now I see some of them are coming back, but they are coming with a new model. That means, the way they were earlier and the way they are coming back today is quite different. So some of them have now definitely some kind of footing in their home state. They have got maybe some part of the family staying there, and they don't want to kind of shift completely to this new large city. They are more or less thinking about, can I work here for a few months, go back, come back. So this kind of models are being tried. So there is a change in migrant labor and how they are working. And if you look at very highly populated city, dense population, and many people are thinking about, can I move to a locality which is less densely populated? I don't want to be staying in the middle of so many people because I understand there's a greater risk. So there is a migration of different kinds. So there is a work from home is a kind of migration. Workers is one migration. Within the same city also moving to a lesser crowded area, another kind of migration. All this is happening. If you look at another demographic variable, that is birth rates. And in India and some of the countries, birth rate has gone up significantly during COVID, causing something called a baby boom. Whereas in some of the advanced countries, including, of course, China, there is a decline in the number of births. Okay. Another demographic factor, income. Okay, for some people, COVID-19 became a great opportunity for supernormal profits, supernormal income. But for many others, they lost their livelihood, lost their jobs, and they put into their entire savings to survive these 2 years. Now, discretionary spending, that
Balaji sir, kindly check. The speaker is disconnected.
Problem at the Sudhakar level or at our own level?
I think his connection was not very strong.
Oh,
So that's why he logged off, maybe.
Might be.
If you want, I have some slides I can start and
Yeah.
he can
Yeah, that is also the point.
jump in. Can somebody enable my share screen, please? Balaji, please. Okay. Okay. Before I actually, Sudhakar sir, whenever you're ready, you can start again. I would.
Sir, Director sir, can I?
Yeah, please.
Yes, yes,
Please proceed. You will continue later also, no issue.
yes. So, Sandeep sir, I made you as a co-host, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you can.
Okay. So I have a slightly different take from Sudhakar sir when it comes to COVID and how COVID is.
Sir, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me over. Thank you for listening to me. Dr. Reddy, thank you for inviting me. Slightly different take and some issues which are never talked about in India and how marketing can focus on them. Across the world, we have the lowest number of psychiatrists in the world per 10 lakh people, a million people, 10,000 people. We have total registered psychiatrists as of 2020 as 9,000 psychiatrists for 130 crore people. For the 93 people who are listening here, in this 1.5 years, when somebody near dear, somebody known to you died, did you feel depressed? Did you feel down? But our society says, you have to be strong. Our mother, father tell us, beta, you have to be strong. You can't. So all these mental health issues, anxiety issues are all, they are for the weak people. We're all 95, 98 people who are here today, all are very strong. But are we really that strong? When we sit alone and we're missing somebody, when we're sitting alone or we lost a job, we've got a salary cut, there are so many horror stories. There is so much anxiousness with COVID around the world. It's not only India. India has been also struck very badly. But we look at the friends who are doing well and getting a salary raise, but we don't look at a friend who has lost job and his wife has lost job and is barely surviving. That's how unfortunately, the India society has turned towards. Mental health issues are something which we don't like admitting. And the reason, in very crass Hindi, are wo pagal hai. Look, being depressed, there is nothing wrong with it. I challenge that at least that at least 50% of people here have had anxiety issues in last 1.5 years. People have felt anxiety, people have seen their heartbeat faster, people have been troubled, but we don't talk about it. So these some slides, I would not take you through, there are some 45 slides, and anybody who's interested, I can share it, the PDF later on. Just mail me on sandeepbudiraja@hotmail.com, I'll mail you this. Is to talk about what can marketers do to, almost like a doctor, what can they do to overcome anxiety? And it's not only a COVID thing. So in 2019, Gallup did 140 countries and said, we are very, very worried what we have become. So this is in 2019, Gallup surveyed 140 countries. So this is not only now, but so if you see BBC, you see a New York Times, if you see actually Times of India, People are grief stricken. People are anxious. People do not know how they're going to pay their mortgages, loan. Is my home going to repossess? Is my family going to be out on the street? How am I going to feed my family? How am I going to sponsor education for my kids? I wanted to send my kids to Canada. Now I can't even afford to teach them in India. There is a lot of collective anxiety which all of us are going through. So, from a marketing angle, support health goals. In these times which are tough, offer real value. Products which offer real value. Instantly, some of the categories which have really suffered in this pandemic worldwide are things like chewing gums, sheer waste, carbonated soft drinks, which don't really, none of them really offer real value. Things which lighten up the mood, make you feel good, all have done well. Can you find and serve a new occasion in this time and help tackle anxiety? Question to all of you. I want some people to shout out. Would you want to consider buying a food which helps you sleep better, which gives you gut health, mood enhancement, anxiety, mental focus, energy? Anybody? Anybody disagrees, want to shout out? Most welcome. Unmute yourself if you can and answer. I'm not sure that anybody wants to answer, so I will skip on. But we've seen these are things which people are battling and marketers can take. So we've done this study across 4 countries. And if you see, sleep, immune health are the big concern areas, mental focus, energy, all these things were greatly. But if you see similar things in UK, similar things in China with immune health and sleep, and see how Thailand, which is near home, immunity, we want immunity. We don't want to die. We don't want more than us. What I don't want to happen is to my wife, my kid, my mother. I want them to eat food which will give us immunity. We have cut down things which we know were bad for us because a lot of us, there are obviously very brave people in our country who don't think COVID is there, but if we leave them aside, we are bothered about our loved ones. So this is an absolutely new category. We used to drink Thumbs Up, Coke, Pepsi to, charge up, Red Bull, Gatorade. Now this is a completely reverse category. Relaxation drinks. Antidote to modern times. This drink, when you drink, helps you relax. I want, this is a poll. This is a question. If you can name an Indian category in drinks, which also helps you relax. And I want somebody to name the brand also over there. The #1 brand in India and a category which helps you relax, which almost helps you to put to sleep. Beverages. I do want an answer this time. Or is it that people can't, Dr. Balaji, people can't unmute themselves and speak?
Yes, sir. I will request, sir.
Yeah, if somebody will unmute and try and answer, it's a pretty simple question.
Students, any participants are requested to give answers to sir.
This is an international relaxation drink, but we've always had a relaxation drink category of our own. Which is that category? And name the #1 brand over there.
Participants, please respond. I think participants are not responding, sir.
Okay. Anybody had a buttermilk in the morning? Anybody had a Amul buttermilk in the morning? Anybody had another brand's buttermilk? Buttermilk is a category which I think is a 50, 60 or maybe 100 years old, because especially in South India, that was something which was almost a staple. That's another category which is very India specific. We've not exported it around, but buttermilk, if you had, helps you cool down, helps you chill, helps you relax, puts you almost to sleep. It's a very different category from carbonated soft drinks. Some things which are happening. So people are looking at ingredients, magnesium, ashwagandha, chamomile, passion flower, chicory root, vanilla. I want to feel calm. I'm just too stressed out. So you have brands like Just Chill, you have calming, you have Pinnings having a moment of calm, down to earth, things because people want to feel calm. This is another thing which, and these are brands that I'm showing which are already in market and targeting that. People were smart enough to start working on it in end of 2019, and they were already working, but a lot of these brands were launched in 2020 with all the problems of trying to launch a brand in absence of an ad agency in office, and plants being shut and printing stops, factories being shut. They have still launched. One of the biggest needs, and this is a big need again in India, sleeping. India is one of the countries which sleeps the least. We don't get a good night's sleep. If you were to do a quick poll among these 93 people, we'll find people are averaging around 6 hours or less here. So people are turning to melatonin, cherries, magnesium, vitamin B6, valerian, lavender to get sleep. Sorry. And then I want to be able to focus. Something which will help you focus, Nudge Coffee Bar, Noro Lemon Ginger, Wow Focus, which are focused brain boosty. Mostly the breakfast which will help you focus, which doesn't fill you up. Then you have the brain juice. A lot of, again, ingredients. So somewhere the shift from a marketing is towards product. This is not only about marketing and being smart and having the best buzzwords. This is about having your ingredient story. This is about having a product which actually works. This is about having something which, this is not about saying it's a brain juice, but if it doesn't actually do what it is claiming, then it won't work. People are looking for something which is genuine, which gives you value, and something which helps them either focus or sleep or calm. These are some of the things which so these are categories. Focus is beverage driven, ingredient led. Again, they do lack simplicity because these are all new things. These are all complicated stuff. For countries like India, there are lots of stuff which has basically picked up, which was our heritage. Things like buttermilk, things like Himalaya products, they were always there. People were turned to homeopathy. But these were always there. We just realized that how beneficial they are. Question is, when will these things become mainstream? And another question is, when would somebody launch something which will help me sleep in India? India has a potential for some drink, some food, which will help all of us get good 6, 7, 8 hours of sleep. These are recession proof. You know, you're always going to have people who are anxious, who need calm, who need focus. We do have products which help you supposedly focus, but and brands which help you focus, but calm and sorry, what was the other point? I forget. The calmness part or sleeping part are already as very, very big needs. So the era of Cokes and Pepsis, and I know I'm making a controversial statement, is over. It's the time that they started going down and the time that the buttermilks of the world and the pannas of the world started growing and growing more. Just some examples and then I'll stop because I think I'm already overshooting my time. Sleep drink. So if you see cool blue color aligns with cooling mouthfeel, natural menthol, floral, citrus, flavor cues, support sense of winding down. One of the things which is happening for last 10, 15 years, but that's coming to thing, you cannot just claim a claim without a product backing. When I say something, the sensorials of natural menthol, floral citrus are critical for snooze to claim that sweet dreams are going to be your way if you drink it. Otherwise, again, it is a boutique drink. It has a vibrant orange. It's an orange color. Sorry, it doesn't show very orange here. With blue cues, which cues citrus flavor. A drink which helps you sleep. Snoozeberry. Use medicinal. If you see the shape of the bottle, it almost has fruit candy and mineral flavors. And it's almost like an energy shot. Snoozeberry is in medicinal. It suggests childhood cough medicine, something which again would let good sleep and immediate. Relaxing tea, informal drink, not black tea, honey flavor, sweet tea. It has southern roots, warm, welcoming, homely. It emphasizes that, porridge. So again, these are examples. This is a need we can discuss. If Ms. Sudhakar sir has some questions, then we can discuss what all we can do and take it forward. Any questions so far on this? Anybody has any question? Type it out. I will try and answer.
Sorry, is it really works, sir? Sir?
Yeah. Type out a question rather than just.
Sir, is they really work, sir? You showed sleeping products, focus products.
If you see relaxation drink market, which is $300 million in around 6 months' time, people need that. It is not a medicine which gives you a sleep immediately, but yes, it does help you relax so that you can get a good night's sleep.
Thank you, sir.
Sudhakar sir, any questions, any remarks, any?
Sandeep ji, I don't know whether you recall, but actually we have connected earlier about something to do with neuromarketing.
Yes,
so maybe a couple of sentences about what is neuromarketing will help the students a lot.
Okay, that's a difficult
I know
one.
it's not something that you prepared for, but
okay. In basically neuromarketing, I would take it a step back.
Okay.
When we talk about marketing and when we talk about when we take a thing like automobile, okay,
yeah,
we think we're going to spend 10 lakh, 15 lakh, 25 lakh, 30 lakhs to buy a car. We go, we check the specs, we check the prices, we check everything. And then we come back and buy a Hyundai or a Maruti or a Suzuki. Why? Is it that Volkswagen is so stupid, Ford is so stupid, and the other guys who are there in the market or the MGs of the world are so stupid that they don't make good cars? Somewhere you are leaning towards what is called system 1, system 2. System 2 is the rational part where we go do our homework. System 1 is, I look at Sudhakar sir's face and say, yaar, ye mere ko pasand nahi aaya banda. But I don't say it consciously, but yeah, I have made up my mind. I don't even know it. The moment you walk into a room and you see 10 people, there are 3 people that you're naturally drawn to, 7 people or 5 people whom you don't like. You've made up your mind. You walk into the room, which is the first person that you'll talk to. That's system 1 thinking. It's intuitive. It's about trusting your gut, trusting your instinct.
Right, right.
And it is ingrained. Now, there is a lot of work which is happening on System 1, how to get the System 1 out. It's not the easiest thing. The first people to work on was Harvard Business School, which has a fantastic case study, which you guys, if you have not read it, must read, which talks about how a black guy, he goes to the same car showroom rather than a white guy in US, is going to maybe pay $10,000 for the same car than what a white guy would pay. And there are natural biases. It starts about natural biases. We also, India has natural biases against Africans. We do tend to bias. It's not, we will all say, no, we are all, we are all socialists, we don't want to, but there is a bias already. It takes the biases. There is a System 1 learning that thing. Now, how do you get the subconscious working? In a very simplistic terms, you are actually trying to write a paper with Dr. Panda on this, but you basically what you're doing is that you're learning, your brain cells are learning over a period of time. So when you see a chocolate, if you've never seen a chocolate, then you would not think it's very chocolatey and it's going to be very sweet. Over a period of time, when you see a Cadbury Dairy Milk wrapper, you know it's sweet, it's going to be comforting. All those subconscious thoughts are things which are built over a period of time. You tap into that. Tapping into the subconscious is a difficult one, but very simple rule, simplistic. What the product promises, what the product promise and the marketing promise have to match. An example in Indian scenario and in a global scenario is a brand called Bonville of Mondelez, which its advertising talks of a very powerful dark chocolate, but the product is very simplistic. It doesn't do well in the Indian market. So the product and the brand, because product is what is delivering you the subconscious, not brand. If you drink a Pepsi instead of Thumbs Up, you do feel a difference in the product. I don't like both the brands, that's a separate thing. But if you are having a blind soft drink and it's Pepsi and it's Thumbs Up, you will get different sensorials and different subconscious thoughts. That's what neuromarketing does. There are different ways to achieve it. There are different theories how to get it done, but it is not very simple. Let's put it that way.
I have a small observation.
Sure, sir.
Mr. Sandeep, you have raised a very, very interesting point in your talk. In the given environment, like the post-COVID or during the COVID environment, COVID has created the anxiety among the people. And to overcome the anxiety and related issues, the existing products may not be able to meet the expectation to overcome the anxiety, but the new product, which is very, very old, which is very, very traditional, but it re-emerges in the COVID and post-COVID environment, which is very, very local product, which will come to the rescue of the people to overcome the anxiety. And if the same old product appears in a different shape and with a different flavors, I am sure that the market will respond very positively. So this is the shift that we are expecting, that instead of having a long supply chain system, there will be a breakup in the long supply chain, and there will be shorter supply chains, that is locally produced to consume in the local environment. This is one dimension that is maybe emerging in the post-COVID environment. And instead of overcome the anxiety issues, maybe the lifestyles of the people have to be changed with the help of traditionally, locally, and naturally available products to meet the challenging environment that has been created by the post-COVID environment. It looks like this, and you brought out very interesting point at this stage. This is what I feel that my observation.
Sir, I think there are two things which are happening, and one, a trend which has become very big is yoga. Suddenly, online yoga, despite not being able to do offline, has become very big. People are taking care of trying to have physical as well, because yoga doesn't only help with physical health, it also de-stresses you. You focus on your body, you do pranayam. So for yoga has caught on in the last 2 years, especially more than it was earlier. Plus you have more time on hand because you're at home. You're not really going to restaurants and malls and cinemas. So you have more time on hand. So you're eating also a bit more sensible, because everybody, trust me, everybody here would have seen a case of somebody nearby having some kind of problem, somebody in the family. So people are more conscious, people are fearful. Now, question is, as either you react and like Virat Kohli, fight the fear, though you still get out, or you adapt and do yoga and prepare yourself. So there are categories which are growing exponentially. There is a category, you talk about local, there are brands of A2 milk. A2 milk has grown in almost all the metropolitan cities with different local brands, because people want their kids to have better quality of milk. Nothing against Amul and the other big brands of the world, but people want to have better quality milk. A2 milk is from the buffaloes and or cows or whatever it is. It's supposed to be antibiotic free and the likes of it. So that's something which is yoga. There are going to be more local brands coming. There are going to be more local solutions which help you grow, rather than multinationals which take a year just to get the production process in place. That's the disadvantage of being a bigger company, because you don't want to manufacture only for Mumbai or Delhi or Chennai. You want to manufacture for the entire India.
Yeah. Good. Continue, please continue.
Yeah. Sudhakar sir.
Yeah, so actually, I have to go back to my talk. The original idea was, I was talking a little bit about consumer behavior changes that have happened. That was like a precursor to what you were going to say. So now it is like more like summing up what you have said is what I'm probably going to do. And so I was talking about, some of the changes that have happened in the demographics. I spoke about the population kind of composition, and also about income, and then about discretionary spending. So today, many people haven't spent much money over the last 2 years. So they have probably some kind of pent up kind of money available. So these are some of the things that are happening from a point of view of the population itself. But if you look at social behavior, there's another kind of thing that is, there are a lot of changes happening in social behavior. One of the examples I can think of is the COVID kids, those who have been spending 2 years at home at a very impressionable, important age. In fact, all research is saying that the years 1 to 4 are very critical in the development of a child. Now, out of these 4 years, if somebody has spent 2 years at home, what kind of a customer is he going to be when he becomes an adult? What will be the way he will behave? Is something very interesting probably to observe and study, because these people have had very limited social exposure in a very important kind of phase of their life. Similarly, work from home itself is a change in our way of living and behavior. This is also probably going to cause some changes. We have also seen during COVID, or even while the COVID is ending, herd behavior. In the beginning, the herd behavior was panic buying. People were running and buying all kinds of things. Today, the herd behavior is more in the area of revenge shopping or revenge tourism. If you have seen the recent, there are a lot of TV stories about how tourist places are being so much filled up with tourists. So my understanding is, like Sandeep ji also said, consumer behavior has changed quite a bit. What I'll try to do is, can I list a few aspects or areas where this kind of a change has happened? Of course, nobody can guarantee that these are permanent changes. It's an evolving, very fluid thing, but still. So like Sandeep gave a lot of good examples. First change I would see is that there is a greater health-seeking behavior. People are giving greater importance to personal health and hygiene. You know, earlier we never knew something called comorbidity. Today, everybody is talking about, okay, those who are comorbid are more likely to get COVID, and therefore, general health. That means every day, every time, all the time, I have to be in good health. So this kind of concept has come into the customers. Social distancing, of course, it started as physical distancing, but I think more and more it is becoming social distancing. People are preferring not to get too physically close to people whom we don't know well. That means in a crowd or something, we are trying to keep a distance. The third kind of change I find in our social behavior is this forced, or in our consumer behavior is forced proximity. Spending 2 years just within the family has resulted in some positives and also some negatives. If you see, domestic violence, okay, across the world has increased substantially because of people having to stay at home. So this is a negative. But I'm also sure there is a positive in terms of greater family commitment, greater family bonding, you know. So this is one other kind of change that I see. In terms of personal finance also, I find a lot of change in the sense that people are now thinking about liquid assets or liquefiable assets. That means, you know, earlier, in fact, I just recall my dad told me, you know, you should not even think of getting married or something like that until you have 6 months salary in the bank. But I think to my son, I can't say that. I should say that is not good enough. But apart from that, you must be able to quickly have money for a year or two, right? So there are some assets classes where you can liquefy quickly. So for in an emergency. So people are thinking about this in terms of personal finance. I think there are changes happening in our daily habits. Sandeep mentioned about yoga, but it is not only about exercise, it's about eating, it's about lifestyle, how we look at others, how we look at ourselves. So a lot of changes happening in that area. Another big change I see, thanks to COVID, again, it's in many ways a positive. Very few times it's a negative because it is addictive, is that we have become more and more shifting into the digital space. So it's a virtual world, more and more of a virtual world. People are calling this a virtual century itself. So the digital space now, apart from conferences like this one, recently I saw a whole wedding happening, you know, online, and family meetings. All of these are happening digitally. Of course, payment, more or less a very substantial shift has happened in terms of payment online. Also, you know, if you look at it a slightly distance, people have begun to understand that mankind may perish, but you know, the earth will sustain. So this kind of realization of the relationship between man and nature has kind of come into focus. I think earlier that much attention to it or awareness of it was not there, but today people clearly understand that, you know, mankind may not be there, but nature might continue to be there. Another important change I find is already I think both of you have mentioned, both Sandeep ji as well as Dr. Narayana Reddy has mentioned about local. You know, people are rediscovering the local. People are understanding why Swadeshi is better. You know, will all of these affect marketing? Of course, they affect in numerous ways. We already saw wonderful examples of new brands, new products. But I'm sure the older brands also may have to reposition themselves, may have to appear more healthy or whatever it is. And I'm sure also there are more opportunities for marketing. Okay, but basically, what I wanted to talk about today, I will quickly sum. there are a lot of changes in consumer behavior. Okay, but I think how consumer behavior is studied itself may have to undergo a change. See, as marketing people, we assume what is called the economic man. The customer is somebody who is self-interest driven. He wants satisfaction, he wants pleasure, and he is willing to pay a price. So this is how we are looking at a human being, and that he makes rational choices which are for his advantage. So that is how we are looking at a person. But one professor from Tirupati, Dr. Panchamukhi, I don't know how many of you have read about him or heard about him. He was the Vice Chancellor of the Sanskrit University in Tirupati. In his book, he says the Indian way of looking at a consumer or looking at a person is what we call a holistic man, not an economic man. He's a holistic man. See, if you see, for example, in Mahabharata, the starting passage, first few lines is about Dharma Kshetra and Kurukshetra. What is this? So that means you are looking at, if you bring it to the, look at it, these two terms from a consumer behavior point of view. Our desire, kama, consumption, and our need to acquire, and also our action, this is all Kurukshetra. Whereas consumer decision making is not only based on this, right? It also includes factors like ethics, morality, righteousness, right? Many of the times when we are studying consumer behavior, we are not at all thinking about this aspect. But a real decision making of the consumer definitely considers all of these things. So I think the way we are looking at consumer behavior itself might change, because we have to look at a man who is not only selfish. Today, if you see what has happened, one of the big changes that is taking place in the world is the decision making of consumers is not only self-interest. He is thinking about environment. He is thinking about what impact it will have on others. He is thinking about, is it a fair decision? Am I taking away all the things, or is it an equitable decision? So consumer behavior has to consider a man, a total person, who is not just looking at the economics point of view. So I think this is something that we can learn from this pandemic, and how as consumer behavior students we may look at this subject quite differently. I wish you all a COVID-free rest of 2021, and thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm of course happy to take any questions if there are. Thanks again.
Yeah. Now, Sandeep ji, you want to add something?
What is some of the things which have happened well for the local brands and which would impact the MNCs, because typically not only MNCs but the big Indian business houses like Godrej and Britannias of the world, typically our lives, when you have to do a new product development, it is 2.5-3 years. For the first 4 months of COVID, we were buying whatever was available. Every city had shortages. Factories were closed, highways were closed, there were no trucks going. So, if you like eating certain biscuit and if it was available and you bought it, your wife loved you for that because you had a major victory. You got the Britannia Parle-G, Parle-G, you got the Britannia Good Day. So suddenly local brands are being considered. So you have to be, from a marketing, you have to be nimble. You have to be more ethical. You have to appear, your advertising cannot be frivolous. While you should have indulgence and you should enjoy yourself, there is a line between different frivolous, being frivolous and enjoying yourself. So that's something which is there. I think I think we have covered enough. So I will stop it. In case anybody has questions, they can shoot. You have questions? Yeah.
No, it's not a question, but my observation is very interesting. Our discussion actually last 1 hour, whatever we have been discussing, very, very interesting observations have come out during the discussion. One thing is, discussion clearly says now there is a need to redefine what is the purpose of life. Life and how the life should be is the one important issue. And suddenly we realized that orientation of purchasing, as we call it as consumer behavior, we try to buy the goods and services not just to meet our needs or wants, but the needs and requirements of the entire family, where the family is getting integrated with the community. And suddenly we have become more conscious, economic as well as a value orientation while buying. Similarly, the focus of buying, we prefer to buy basic necessities. Yesterday also I mentioned that suddenly the basic necessities have become very, very dearer, and entire focus is more on basic things, but at the same time, we expect better value in terms of health oriented and also hygienic as an important product element before buying actually. Similarly, we are rediscovering the distribution channel in the changed COVID environment. Suddenly, the local suppliers have become very, very important person in the distribution system. Maybe formal or informal, doesn't matter. Same is the case that suddenly the content of the promotion strategies are also suddenly got changed. Whether it is hand wash to the stage of toilet soaps to the napkins to the general products, we say everywhere we find hygienic element, health consciousness, and protecting ourselves, safety and security. So this is the promotion itself got redefined in the changed environment. So is the case with the pricing practices. If you say, once upon a time, we used to say that I bought the car with 5 crores, 2 crores, something like that. Now, those type of imaginary things disappear to a greater extent, and we are more oriented ourselves that buy the quality products with minimum price, because we don't have enough savings and there is a huge demand to spend for health. So therefore, we have to buy basic goods with minimum cost so that we can save. Earlier, we are saving the money. Now we have to save to buy more necessity goods. So that's why here pricing practices, promotional content, distribution practices, new product development process, all these things suddenly has become important issues before the marketeer, and therefore it is an opportunity for the companies to redefine their entire the marketing mix in the post-COVID environment. It looks like this.
Sure.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Any other questions?
So, Mercedes SLK opened its booking in November and sold out in November last year and sold out within 25 days the entire annual inventory. So pricing is something which Indian marketers normally fear. We fear pricing. We cut the quality of the product. We cut, I don't want to get into names, but people cut the quality of product, make it cheap, put a cheaper ingredient, but we don't want to increase the price. We are always so fearful. So if you have a great product, if you have a functionally great product, you can, and if you're delivering the goodness, you can increase prices. People will pay a little bit more for the thing. People will pay for a SLK over a what Hyundai is the thing because it's Mercedes.
Yes.
But we are, as Indian brands, as Indian marketers, we are a little bit very greedy. And this is not related to COVID. Even before that, we are saying, "Nahin, nahin, mere ko to 100 रुपए में बेचना है, 99 rupees for a CC cream. Why? The L'Oreal sells it for 250 rupees. Unilever will sell it for 99 rupees. So that's, anyway, those are things which over a period of time, Indian marketers will realize.
Yes, yes. Good. Now, Christina, please continue.
Thank you, Dr. G.P. Sudhakar and Mr. Sandeep Vidiraja for your insightful deliberations. I take this opportunity to thank the panel speakers for throwing insights into consumer behavior and marketing in the post-COVID world and changes in demographic behavioral shift and the importance of tradition into solving the issues faced by consumers. Thank you, sir, for your insightful deliberations. And thank you, Mr. Sandeep, for sharing your insights about the most important challenges faced by people during the pandemic and the role of marketeers. The sessions was very informative and thought-provoking, and we are very happy to have you both with us today. And we look forward for your deliberations in the future as well. Now we are moving on to the second panel discussion. We have with us Professor Vinod Kumar Singh, Flight Lieutenant M. Sridhar Chakravarti, Startup Mentor and Leadership Coach, Bangalore, and Professor Sunil Sahadev, University of Brighton, UK. With us, welcome you, sir. May I request Dr. C. Rani to introduce the panel members?
Yes, thank you very much, madam. Very good afternoon to our beloved director, Professor P. Narayana Reddy, Chief Vidyaniketan Institute of Management, eminent speakers of today's event, my dear colleagues and students. I take honor in introducing the today's speakers of the event, 3D on International Marketing Conclave on Reimagining Marketing in the New Norm. I would like to start with the panel chairperson, Professor Vinod Kumar Singh, Head MD, Faculty of Management Studies, Control of Examination, and Coordinator of EAIC Cell at Gurukula Foundry, deemed to be University, Haridwar. He also worked as Registrar at Gurukula Foundry, deemed to be University, Haridwar. Head Scientific Research Department, Sultanate of Oman, worked as a Head and Dean, Associate Professor at Faculty of Management Studies, Gurukula Foundry, Vishwavidyalaya, Haridwar. He also served in Indian Air Force. He pursued his Masters in Commerce from Jai Narayana Vyas University, Jodhpur. He did his MPhil in Business Administration from Jai Narayana Vyas University, Jodhpur. He did his PhD in Business Administration from Jai Narayana Vyas University, Jodhpur, on a comparative study of advertising on Doordarshan and cable TV network, a case study of Jodhpur city of Rajasthan. He is awarded by Rashtriya Manav Adhikar Sangharshan Samiti for academic contribution and excellence, awarded by Bharatiya Vikas Parishad for academic contribution and excellence, awarded by NEHRTO Pune Rashtriya Sanman Award for academic contribution and excellence, Best Paper Presentation Award during the Second International Conference at Hamdard University, New Delhi, awarded Haridwar Gaurav by Adhyan Chand Singh for academic contribution and excellence, awarded National Builder Award by Vyasabandhu Samaj, Haridwar for academic contribution and excellence and teachers team. He presented 35 papers in various national and international events and conferences. He acted as a keynote speaker and delivered lectures in 58 workshops and FTPs. He published 80 articles in various conferences and national and international journals. He has to his credit 15 book publications. He supervised 22 research works and is presently guiding 8 research scholars. He is associated in major and minor projects funded by UGC and ICSSR. He is also a visiting professor in IGRA, IIT Roorkee, Sharanpur campus, DMS, Doon University, THU, Dehradun, FET, GKV, Al Hosn University, Abu Dhabi, CU, South Africa. His areas of interest are corporate social responsibility, international business, event management, and marketing management. Sir, we are very delighted to have you in our event, sir. Welcome you, sir. And
thank you very much.
Yes,
most welcome, Vinod ji. How are you doing?
All well, sir. Very good afternoon, sir. All
nice
well,
to
sir.
see
Thank
you.
Okay. Same you with, sir. Same you with.
Yeah.
Thank you.
yes. It is my pleasure in introducing our panel speaker. Flight Lieutenant M. Sridhar Chakravarti is a seasoned business leader and organizational change facilitator With 30 plus years of experience across defense, manufacturing, IT, management, consulting, learning and development, education, non-profits, and sports industries. Mr. Sridhar worked in Japan for 3 months and has been practicing and advising teams in successful implementation of agile concepts in different contexts. Mr. Sridhar works as a business and management system consultant to many IT firms, advising them in improving their processes and team productivity, including a few breakthrough results. He uses multiple systems and frameworks like Balanced Scorecard, OKR, X-Matrix, and TOC together for getting the best results. Mr. Sridhar has been practicing and training many managers on decision and design thinking, systematic inventing thinking, and other tools and methodologies for invention. He has worked in various leadership positions in Indian Air Force, KPMG, CA Technologies, Value Momentum, etc. Mr. Sridhar is passionate about entrepreneurship and driving positive social impact. Sridhar launched 3 businesses earlier, offering business strategy consulting services, e-learning solutions, and offering bicycle maintenance services at doorstep. Mr. Sridhar believes that managers can be coached to become exceptional leaders to realize their full potential. He has coached more than 1,000 young leaders and managers to deliver incredible results through his leadership program, a 12-week immersive learning process. Mr. Sridhar is a certified leadership trainer, CSM and Agile coach. He is a certified startup mentor from Confederation of Indian Industries and City Guides. He has authored 3 books on startup mentoring, employee engagement, and successful goal setting. Sridhar has mentored hundreds of early-stage startups to come up with innovative ideas. His hobbies are writing, long-distance cycling, and balcony gardening. He is a mechanical engineer from Andhra University and has a PhD from XIMB, Bhubaneswar. He is currently pursuing PhD in strategic management and entrepreneurship from XIMB. Sir, a great welcome to you, sir.
Welcome, Sridharji. Thank you very much for joining our team and sharing your knowledge with our people. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for the opportunity.
It's also my pleasure to introduce another panel member, Professor Sunil Sahadi, Professor of Entrepreneurship, School of Business and Law, Center for Change, Entrepreneurship, and Innovation Management. He published several articles in the area of psychological contract violation in e-retailing, e-loyalty, and e-services case. He published several articles in Journal of Business Research, Information Systems Frontiers, Marketing Intelligence, and Planning. Received a grant from the British Academy of Pursued Research in the area of student camping. His articles are published in British Journal of Management, Journal of World Business, and Journal of Business Research. He has explored several research issues in the area of services management, international management, sustainability, and digital thinking. He is active as a researcher in the field of marketing, management, and his associated specializations. He is interested in knowledge exchange activities involving training executives, KTP project, and informal consulting assignments. He trained executives in topics like sales management, digital marketing, relationship marketing, and service management. He also offered short-term courses as well as one-day training courses for managers for a variety of organizations. He also offered consultancy services to firms in UK and India. A great welcome to you, sir.
Welcome, Sunilji. Okay, continue.
Yes. Once again, I welcome all the dignitaries on behalf of Sri Vidyaniketan Institute of Management. I request Mrs. Christina Madam to take over the session.
Thank you, Rani. May I request Professor Vinod Kumar Singh, Chair of the panel discussion, to please take over the session.
Thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Bharat, for a very sweet introduction. I don't know how far I'm going to give the justification, but it seems that there are 98 participants, which is really looking to the online, situations. It's a huge crowd. So at the outset, I'm extending my heartiest thankful to Professor Reddy Saab, and salute to all the people, faculties and non-teaching staff, and the other people, those who are engaged to make this program a very grand successful. So as I have been intimated that the time is 10 to 15 minutes time. So right now it is 3:14. So I'll be taking roughly 10 to 12 minutes time, whatever is being allotted to me. So today I'm going to talk on the reimagining marketing in the new normal. Especially I'll be taking the context of consumer behavior. Well, if you look onto the government, which has been gradually removing pandemic-induced restrictions and businesses begin to reopen, there is a sense that we might be on the verge of returning to a normal. That is unlikely. It's very true. But during the month of lockdown and self-isolation, we have been, in fact, writing a new future. This has important implications for marketers who are constantly trying to build, the lasting relationship with their customers. To take any good brand to a very lower profile brand. Gradually, monitoring of data and trends in consumer behavior has always been important to planning. You cannot ignore this. Well, given the unprecedented nature of the pandemic and profound changes, it is causing, and we believe that harnessing imaginations may be just a critical point. It's true. But looking to the marketers will need to think hard and differently about what the consumers in the next normal will think, feel, or you can say, and they want to do it. But I remember an article of McKinsey that states that they have observed almost 6 potentially important changes into the consumer's behavior. Well, some of them are meaningful in terms of accelerations of existing trends. Some are only emerging to the latest trend of what we are expecting at. But what follows are suggestions and how marketers can begin to respond to these changes. It is normally not meant to be an exhaustive list. And because you see, they do not claim certainly about the durations of these changes. But they think, these companies, the people, they think that their implications of marketers weren't careful about considerations and thoughtfulness of actions. So just to look on to the situations there, or just to look on to how we move our change management. Well, I have normally tried to give implications in terms of 6 different blocks. The first thing to which I'm going to talk it about the shopping, which is catching up to the great digital, migrations to expand the digital borders, right? Well, if you look forward for the consumers, vaulted 5 years in the adoption of digital, it was just 6 weeks. That's it. Significantly, cohorts of them has been trying to digitally looking forward. In Latin America, 13 million people made their first ever e-commerce transaction. 13 million. And if you look into across all countries measured in our global consumer sentiments, a survey, consumers are turning down to the digital and reduced the contact ways of accessing the products and services. So as we look more gradually into the markets of United States, or as we look more gradually to the markets of some other countries, you will definitely find that the digital trend in magnified for Generation Z, millennials. I think there are higher income consumers in general. So looking to that particular situation, social commerce is on a rise. Almost roughly to 24% of the people, they say that they have stopped, they have looking forward for the offline modes. In fact, they have been either choosing the Instagram based on the influencers' recommendations proceed. Now, this shift is likely to stick to a large extent, simply because e-commerce is often more efficient, or you can say very perfectly, you can look it forward for the less expensive in terms of looking to the safer, and the consumers then going for the shopping in a physical store. So this is something where we can look and we can see the dignified value. Well, when you look on to the net intent to shop to a physical store, once the COVID-19 crisis abates, has gone almost, if I'm not giving the exact figure, but yes, almost it has gone down to 7% in both, right? So looking to two countries, main countries where we find more interactive versions. One is Italy, and the second is United Kingdom. And 8% is that they have gone down in a specific country called Spain. So if you look onto some other figures like Amazon, they have reported 26% of a boom in sales in the first quarter of 2020 as compared to the same period of last 2019. So this was the one version where we look and say the shopping conclusion. The second version, the second block is an e-services where we find the new, service platforms to help consumers to take or to care of the businesses. So in this particular way, in the last years, we have seen varying degrees of e-services adoption. Well, looking from the banking to the entertainment, to the media, other services have been more reasonable for ranging the limited options to sub-optimal customers' experience. Well, during the COVID-19, people are not only increasing buying online, but they expect to perform other tasks and other services as well. You see, take example of medicine visits have rapidly increased more. Well, other things can be more clear is about looking to the teledoc health, right? The multinational for profit virtual headquarter company, which is almost reaching to 1.7 million, roughly 1.7 to 1.8 million in the United States in the first quarter of 2020. If you make this figure as compared to the to Q3 quarter 3 of 2019, you find it's almost doubled in a very single slot. And 38% of the telemedicine users they have surveyed have stated using the online service during the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, what is a more point of concern is that when you look on from the marketer's point of view, we need to give some more reasons, like for example, to see some interconnected services platforms. For example, food marketers can partner with e-health platforms or online fitness companies. They can promote the benefits of each to a wider audience. Or in another way, you can say a home buyer platform, could increase real estate mortgage and moving and going for the bill forwarding services which they are going to tie with the single experience companies. Now, the third cluster, the third block where we fix ourselves into the reimagining is the home that is finding a spot in the new command central for all the central. So it is just like Fox and hub model which we are reflecting to. So the crisis has made a home as an multi-functional hub, a place where people live, work, learn, shop, play, and get them entertained with their family. So this will be specifically true as a growing number of global organizations and employees to attempt to sustain some of the advantages of working remotely that have been taken as an experience. Now, this is the other block. The fourth one is the community localizing experiences, in which we can discuss more on the near shutdowns of travel and other current lockdown constraints have been local neighborhoods much giving more important. Above all, you can look forward for managing the hyper-local activities that engagements will require marketers to rewrite the operations model to provide a more a granular presence as a scale. So this approach will need to build on many of the capabilities which is being developed around the personalization, particularly analytical triggered based messaging, and agile test and learn approach. These all things that, they are being, you can say generalized with the statements. And once the popular online video showcases about how COVID-19 advertisements has wider range in terms of to the brands for some other country contents, which is remarkably very true as for looking to the brands while blending in with the people, shifting and looking for the concerns and behaviors that will actually change. Now, the fifth one is about the trust. And when you look on for the trust into the concern of reimagining the marketing situations, there you are more creating a space for health and affordability. And it's not surprisingly, the consumer sentiment research shows that personal health and economic well-being are top of the mind concern. So, this is the positive side of COVID-19. People have grown, across many countries, and they have believed the shared trauma of a pandemic and will likely to have a lasting impact, especially as the new infection hotspots, continue to emerge. So, foot traffic in stores have increased, travel and events have returned, and in overall, marketer will therefore need to rethink much in a broader range of shopping experiences, how you are going to relate, how the consumers may be more willing to shop display walls, for example, where items are shown and can be scanned for delivery. So it's very simple. So the pandemic has also generated unprecedented challenges to consumers, especially I'm talking of the brand loyalty. So the research totally shows that 20% of the consumers have switched to store brands, and almost half of them have intended to stick with their new choices. So that is the one. And last but not least, which I have looking forward for, is about the purposes. What is the purposes? And when I use the word purposes, it means I'm talking on holding brands to a higher standards. Because socially, when you look forward for the values, which is being more focused in the recent years, and the current crisis will likely to accelerate these particular trends. For example, our research, in Australia, households evidence have growing culture of for doing the right things, looking after society, and being all in this together. So as a whole, you normally look forward for a recent surge of activism, which is likely to give a consumerism greatest sense of the power holding the larger organizations to account for. Some, roughly took on to certain percentage, 61% claims that how a brand responds during a crisis will have a large impact on whether they continue buying it within the crisis period of time. So this means that marketers must communicate a very strong sense of their brand's purposes. As a matter of fact, a cause that the brand stands up for, or an area where the brand aims to make a real differences. Brands can do this through the projects they normally choose to be involved into it, or they predict, or in terms of partnering their choices to work with, or sometimes you can also make forward for the way they treat their employees and the messages they send to the ultimate consumers. So overall, if you'll make it in a very condensed way, it is something like that. Most importantly, brands will need to back up the bold statements with the real action. What is the real action during this pandemic, and how we are going to upgrow ourselves? Some brands that have perceived as taking advantage of cause or situations have already suffered a backlash. And believe me, when you talk of a brands, will need to make clear commitments to cause they believe in or risk newly empowerment to the consumers who are calling them for out. So this was a basic version of how we can reimagining the marketing in the new normal trend, looking and focusing to the consumer's behavior. So with this, I end up my talk. Thank you very much, Professor Reddy, for giving me a very grand opportunity and to have an interaction between your people. And I think I'm focused to my time. So thank you, and over to the organizers. Thank you very much. And if any questions can be thrown forward, I'm looking forward. Thank you.
Christina, ask Sridharji to talk.
May I request Flight Lieutenant Sridhar Chakravarti, Startup Mentor Leadership Coach, Bangalore, to please take over the session.
Okay, thank you. Can I have the access to share my screen? Is it possible?
Yes, sir. Just a second.
Okay. Yes, I got the. So thank you very much for the opportunity. What I'm going to talk about is going to build on what Professor Vinod Singh has beautifully captured. What I am now talking about is actually reimagining marketing in the sense of marketing to be used for delivering tangible value and adding value. Because traditionally, marketing has always been used for communication of the value to the customers. This is our focus of the discussion. As Duncan Wardle says, who is the ex-VP Innovation at Walt Disney, marketing as we know will be dead in the next few years. So what is happening? The focus is shifting to experience economy. That means those companies who are able to create and deliver unique experiences.
मैं कह रहा था कि वो केजी वाला आपके पास पड़ा हुआ क्या?
The focus is shifting onto the experience. So unless until the customers start experiencing value even before buying, the sale is not going to happen. So can we create and deliver value through customer experiences? That is going to be our focus. This happened in 2013, Mahakumbh Mela. Lifebuoy did a beautiful campaign. They deployed about 100 people in about 100 kitchens using these kind of handheld devices to stamp this message on all the rotis which are being cooked. Lifebuoy se haath dhoya kya? Essentially what is happening, because when such a huge religious gathering or any gathering happens, it is prone to a lot of infections and diseases. And the best way to prevent them is washing hands frequently. And this campaign was used very effectively to drive that positive message into the population, all the participants. And the brand positioned itself in a very beautiful way, because end of the day, as we know, Lifebuoy stands for health. That's the whole thing. Tandurasti ki raksha karta. That's the whole thing. And they extended that without being too intrusive, and it gave beautiful results to them. Brand recall improved by 4% and a lot of beautiful examples. This was done by Disney Junior. Disney Junior has a beautiful show called Doc Mech Shifting. What happens in the show, it is aimed at small kids. These toys are used as models for patient, and the actors check their various symptoms and other things. They actually took this into the population. They went to all the schools where these young children are there, and they took this. And all the children got dressed up as doctors, and they did all the tests on the teddy bears, huge teddy bears, and they all got a beautiful certificate. They also got a door hanger, which they could put on the dock in the house. What is happening now? There is a complete immersion into the whole thing that they have been watching on the TV. This is by the famous brand Gatorade, the health drink. They set up this kind of a kiosk where, by bringing lot of technology infusion into this whole thing, partnering with other technology companies, they have conducted an entire set of tests on the people, the target customers, whoever is the visitors to the kiosk, which a professional athlete goes through. So imagine, though, this is the kind of testing an athlete goes through. And the brand is identified with high-performing athletes. That is how they created this. This is another interesting thing, which was done by Google. They wanted to donate about 5.5 million in California area to various non-profits. But how do you decide? Who should decide which non-profit should get max what? So they put up these kind of boards and asked all the citizens to vote. They just had to touch one of the brands, and based on that, they distributed 500,000 each to the top 6, and the remaining 4 got about 250K. Let's say this also is positioning Google as a philanthropic organization, but at the same time, I have got, as a common citizen, I had a chance to decide which particular initiative got funded. This was done by HBO in another conference. Escape room is a very famous thing in most of the places, even in places like Hyderabad, they have got it now, where you are locked in and you are supposed to figure out the clues and escape out of that place. They created these escape rooms, but it's a combination of 3 rooms, each based on the theme of the most popular shows they have. One is Game of Thrones, then Silicon Valley and Weave. These are the shows of serials of HBO. You are actually living in those spaces for that few minutes, which created a huge immersive experience for the customers. This was done by JetBlue. They wanted to drive visitors and traffic to a destination called Palm Springs in California. And they set up, in the middle of the winter, this kind of a huge ice block in New York, where people are invited to break up this ice and grab whatever they are able to get out. You can see a lot of summer items which are embedded in the ice blocks. So this is and it is for free. You just come, break it up and dig it up and you take it out. So what we are talking about here, we are talking about changing role of marketing. Traditionally, it was a one-way communication. As spray and pray, as people popularly say. What was trying to be the focus? Either it was a creative copy. When one of the outlets in South Delhi, when they launched the advertisement about transparent swimsuit, can you think about that? It created a huge chaos in those days. A lot of people were talking about it. All melodious music. All the senior guys who have heard will never forget the jingle of Nirma, washing powder Nirma. It was such a catchy tune. That was the focus for them. Or a vibrant visual. This single ad from Cadbury dramatically improved the sales. This was about the girlfriend of a cricketer. When he scores the century or he wins the match, she jumps out and starts dancing on the field. It was very popular. So this was the whole thing. But that was all one way. And as you know, one-way relationships don't work that well. How do we establish this two-way relationship? It is not about doing a consumer survey. It is not about doing a quarterly survey or trying to do that. No, that's not that. It is about engaging with the customers, creating engaging experiences. All of us know about these 4 types of values, and the 7th is of marketing. Of course, traditionally, most of the people talk about the 4 P's of marketing, but additional things have been added to that. When you look at the types of value which any product or service can deliver, essentially functional, monetary, social, or emotional. I'm also adding entertainment value here. for the sake of discussion. Now, if you look at the 4 Ps, traditional 4 Ps, product always delivers your functional value. Place delivers again functional value. Price obviously is a monetary value. I'm talking about the primary values I'm talking about. There are other nuances attached to that. If I buy something for a very costly item, obviously it has some certain emotional value also and social value also. But primary. Then promotion essentially talks about functional and entertainment value. Why am I talking about entertainment value? The most famous ad in the recent past, at least a few years ago, the Zuzus for Vodafone. Everybody loved it. It's very innovative. Correct. But it was more of an entertainment value apart from really creating a brand loyalty. Now, the additional things which got added subsequently, positioning, everybody started talking. What is this positioning? It drives social and emotional value predominantly. Packaging focuses on delivering emotional, functional, and social. How? The moment you see a certain kind of a package, there is an emotional attachment. Can packaging be used for functional? Obviously. I used to have about 7-8 huge plastic bottles, which were actually used as a packaging by Brook Bond coffee. And I never threw them. They were always there being used as storage cans. And the brand was right in front of me. Correct? So I'm talking about packaging delivering functional value. And can packaging deliver social value? Recently, there was a startup which started offering this in Bangalore. What these guys are talking about is the recycling of the bottles. Because they know huge amount of bottles are getting piled up, which is a waste. They started collecting the bottles back with the next delivery, reducing a huge amount of waste, which otherwise is a waste, essentially. People. A lot of people started talking about people, but what do you do with people? You need to engage them in terms of emotional, functional, social, monetary, all these ways. This is the way the marketing mix is being fundamentally changed, has to change, in fact. So how do we deliver these values? Create a rewarding experience. How do you create a rewarding experience? Like the example we have talked about, Gatorade drink. You are getting an insight into the life of a professional athlete, whether you are an athlete or you are aspiring or not. So that is a rewarding experience. If you go to the big chain, Costco, which is in USA, the most interesting thing about that whole store, which is like any other department store, there are a lot of small kiosks which are set up by a lot of brands. And they keep giving you those small samples, whether it is a snack, whether it is whatever. So it is a complete experience which is happening there of the products. And that's fantastic. And you keep going around all the place. It's a huge place. And you keep finding these stalls, distributing these small snacks or freebies or experiencing that. And what happens when you really experience it and you like it? You buy it. Otherwise, a new brand, are you willing to really put that and to discover later that no, you don't like it? So that is fundamentally what is happening. Teach them something new. Sensodyne set up huge kiosk with almost 13 feet molar. That is a model of a tooth where people were taking pictures. There was a free checkup, which was happening. There was an education session, which was happening. They are trying to create a kind of a world record for the largest gathering of dental education session, all that. So something very, very different. Include them in your story. This is a beautiful thing which was done by Cadbury's for last Diwali. They started advertising. Why? Because they also need to survive. So don't make everybody happy. Making happy is the brand image they want to create. And they are trying to make these local, not just retail stores where their brand is being sold, all types of stores. It is jeweler or clothing or whatever. A very unique and very interesting way to use marketing for an emotional and a social value delivery. And leverage customer service. Of course, a lot of case studies have been done on the Ritz-Carlton where individual employees, all the staff have got freedom to spend up to $2,000 to meet any customer need without any prior approval. Look at the amount of empowerment that those people have. Most of the people think, oh, this will be misuse. No, you hardly have any misuse. That creates magic. And everybody who goes there keeps talking about it. Huge brand value, brand retention, in spite of lot of competition. This is what we are talking about. Unless we start reimagining, correct, by completely redefining the way we are going to talk or understand the customers. There are 3 tools I'm going to talk about now. One is the customer journey map. This is from design thinking. Unless you understand the customer journey and start redefining that, things will not change. We are still fighting the red ocean. This is a typical journey map for a customer who is feeling hungry. What does he do? He goes and opens up a fridge. He cannot find anything, starts a bike, goes to a restaurant, gets it packed, gets the food, drives back, eat it, finally wash the plates. Each and every box has got an opportunity. But what Zomato and Swiggy have done, they have completely threw away this one. They said, the moment you are hungry, you just send an SMS and pay. We will deliver everything. You don't have to heat it because we will deliver it hot. You don't have to use plates and spoons again because we are going to deliver them in the nice containers with disposable spoons. You don't have to wash it because these are disposable. Entire chain has been taken over. How else can you reimagine this kind of a customer journey for each and every product, for each and every segment? That is the challenge and that is the opportunity that we have in front of us. Second thing is the empathy map canvas. What is this empathy map? How are the customers feeling? What do they hear? What do they see? And what are they saying? And what are they doing when they are interacting with the product? And unless we understand that, there is no engagement. Because ultimately, how they feel about the pains and gains, the traditional, the 2 buckets are the 2 ways in which value can be delivered. Either there is a pain reliever or a gain enhancer or a gain creator. There is nothing else. Because those are the only 2 primary drivers for all the human beings. Either we avoid the pain or we want to enhance the gain. And that is, and we start understanding how customers are interacting. In fact, this can happen only when you create those environments and only when you observe customers working with your product, interacting with your product. In fact, some of the software companies have got these kind of testing rooms where they ask the customers to sit and use their product, and there is a one-way glass, see-through glass, and on the other side of that, people keep observing them, looking at their facial expressions, whether they're squirming, whether they're struggling, and they capture that and see what is happening, what is making them happy, what is troubling them, all that. That is what we are talking about. And most importantly, the steps in the buying decision. Unless a customer ticks off all these boxes, sale is not going to happen. Now, none of them have got anything to do with the product. That's the most important thing. Nothing, that is not with the product feature per se. You need to become aware of the need. Then it has to become a desire. You should be informed as a customer. Then you want a social proof, 5-star, 4-star, whatever the way you want to create the social proof. Value proposition should be felt. Am I paying money and am I getting more out of it? Urgency of the purchase, access, whether it is easily accessible, is it going to be door delivered? Is it going to enhance my self-esteem? Am I going to take a selfie and put it on the Facebook after buying this? And unless until we do all this, it is not going to be sold. I'm not talking about simple products like a tea stall or consumables or the regular stuff, groceries. I'm talking about significant, where the investment is significant in both the buying decision as well as the economic investment. Right? So that is where we need to start focusing on. And unless we are making this happen for the customer in a proactive and a deliberate, systematic manner, sale is not going to happen. Last week, I was talking to some startup. There was a session, and one of the founders said, Sridhar, people are talking, people are excited, people say this is a great product, but nobody is taking the money out. And that's the reality. Why? Because this is not happening. Appreciation from the customer, the true appreciation from the customer is when he takes out the money. Till then, it is all just talk. And we need to make that final thing happen. That is the most important job of marketing. As they say, as even the marketing gurus say, if you really do fantastic marketing, you don't need to do sales. Sales will happen automatically. That's it from me, guys. Thank you so much for this opportunity. These are my coordinates. Feel free to get in touch with me. My LinkedIn profile is active. Just check for Flight Lieutenant Sridhar Chakravarti. You'll be able to catch me there. Any questions? I'm open. Thank you.
Thank you, Flight Lieutenant Sridhar Chakravarti, sir. May I request Professor Sunil Sahadev, University of Brighton, UK, to please continue the session.
Welcome, Professor Sunil Sahadev. I'm very, very happy to see you for joining this session. And of course, after you, Professor S.S. Prasad Rao is also joined. I'm very happy. I welcome Professor Prasad Rao for the next session. Please, may I request Sunil Sahadevji, please continue. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Professor Narayana Reddy. I was just listening to Sridhar's talk. It was extremely interesting. I'm going to talk about something that is absolutely related to what Sridhar was talking about, which is about supply chains and connected to what has happened during the last 1.5 years, the severe pandemic. We are now talking about supply chain resilience. So I'll just make a very short presentation on supply chain resilience. And I would like to invite views, opinions, and as well as an open discussion on supply chain resilience. So I'll just try to share my screen. 1 second. Can I share my screen? I think the host has disabled my screen.
Sir, I gave the option, sir. You can continue, sir. I gave the option.
Okay, fine, no worries.
Yes.
Okay. Is it fine? Can you all see my screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Okay. So I'll just start rather a story of Nokia and Ericsson about something which happened almost 20 years back. Now, this was the time when mobile phones were launched, but smartphones were still, of course, almost more than 10 years away. And the market leaders were Nokia and Ericsson. So both of them, both Nokia and Ericsson at that point in time were contenders to be the leading mobile phone suppliers in the world. Probably some of you might recall the type of models which were available at that point in time. So this is about, so as it is today, most mobile phones would be having thousands of small components ranging from something as simple as plastic cases to very advanced chips, semiconductor chips which were embedded in these phones. And some of these semiconductor chips were manufactured by Philips of Holland, but these were manufactured in a factory in the US, I think in Illinois. In USA. So what happened was, this particular chip foundry used to supply chips to both Nokia and Ericsson, and they were used in these phones, and they were sold all over the world. In the year 2000, around I think March, there was a big fire in one of the chip foundries in Philips. Now this fire did not lead to any casualties, nobody died, but it was serious enough to literally stop the manufacturing of these chips for about a month. And I mean, when the fire happened, Philips did not realize the level of damage that the fire has done to its chip foundry. So Philips initially told both Nokia and Ericsson, their main buyers, that everything will be normal within a couple of weeks, so don't worry. So what Ericsson managers did was they thought that, yeah, maybe a week we have enough stock in our factories to continue producing for this mobile phone, using these chips for about 1 or 2 weeks, so we don't need to worry. They just literally slept on it. But Nokia, when they received this alert message from Philips, they felt that no, this cannot be wished away. You have to be prepared for any eventuality. So what they did was they scouted for other possible chip manufacturers. They identified a couple of chip manufacturers in Germany, in South Korea, and then gave some advance orders for these chips. And then within a few weeks, Nokia started manufacturing their mobile phones with these new chips from new manufacturers. But the trouble with the original factory in Philips carried on for more than 2 weeks, more than what was anticipated. And by then, Ericsson had to literally stop manufacturing their mobile phones because these chips were not available. But Nokia continued to do that. And this was that period, that interval of time, as you call it, where one mobile phone brand would be overtaking another mobile phone brand. And in that crucial time, Nokia phones were available. Whoever went to a shop, whether it was in Brazil or India or Singapore, they could easily buy a mobile phone from Nokia, but Ericsson phones were unfortunately in short supply. And soon, within a few months, the whole market completely overturned and Nokia became the market leader. Soon after about a month, Philips manufacturing restarted at their foundry. They started supplying chips to both Nokia and Ericsson, but by then the world had changed. So this is a simple explanation of how supply chain bottlenecks could actually lead to significant losses. Now, for Philips, the manufacturer of those chips, whose foundry was affected by this fire, probably they lost a few million pounds. Anyway, they were covered by their insurance. So nothing much happened with Philips. Nokia literally jumped ahead of Ericsson, became the leading mobile phone manufacturer at that time. Of course, afterwards, Nokia also floundered. That is a different story. But Ericsson saw huge losses. And then almost within a few months, or within a few years, they found that their mobile phone business was not sustainable, and they had to basically sell their mobile phone business to Sony. That's how we have this Sony Ericsson, and even that brand is no longer there. So what I'm trying to talk about is supply chain resilience. As the COVID pandemic has shown us, you cannot anymore rely on a smooth supply chain delivery performance situation. Supply chains can be interrupted much more than we earlier thought. Previously, our manufacturing geniuses thought about reducing raw material stock, reducing the raw material stock to almost a level of zero, so that we don't have to spend any money on storing anything. Everything was almost as if it was made to order, just in time. That was the mantra of the last previous decade. Now that is, people are rethinking about it. People feel that it's not as easy. And if we rely on that kind of thinking, we might end up with this sort of problems. So I think about 2 years back, McKinsey developed a disruption model. Basically, they looked at different types of disruptions that had happened across different types of industries, ranging from anything from something like a major pandemic to a global military conflict to even financial crisis, even local military conflict, trade disputes. As you may know, in UK, we are going through different stages of Brexit, where the British economy is being decoupled from the European Union. And every now and then we hear news stories about how large trucks which are used to transport things between the two, between European Union and United Kingdom, are getting stuck in the highways, and which can lead to a lot of manufacturing problems. So McKinsey looked at all these possible disruptions, and they tried to position them across two dimensions. One is, how easy is it to anticipate these kind of disruptions? What is the lead time? If you look at something like a theft, you cannot anticipate it even the day before that happened, or a systematic cyber attack, or even something like a man-made disaster. Somebody wrongly put a switch on a factory and that caused a short circuit and the factory literally burned down. So there will be a lot of unanticipated disasters, as well as disasters which can easily be anticipated, like a trade dispute or a global military conflict. On the other hand, disasters can also be measured in terms of the magnitude of shock. It could be in terms of a relatively small amount, like millions of dollars, to tens of trillions of dollars. So the point is, how much have you looked at the possible vulnerabilities, the possible disruptions that can be caused in your own industry? And have you actually looked at what could be the outcome of this level of disruption? What would be the outcome in terms of the amount of money that you will lose? And McKinsey also looked at different, firms in different industries, and looked at how much will they lose for the next 10 years in terms of disasters, or how much they have lost in the last 10 years in terms of disasters. And they found that, different sectors varied in different ways in terms of the expected loss over the 10 years. The loss that happens because of a disaster is not something that is limited to this year. It can happen, its effect can be felt over a period of time, because you were supposed to deliver something. You were not able to deliver something, and therefore your buyer, your customer has lost trust on you, and therefore will lose, and you will lose that customer's order, and that can lead to some other effects, and that can lead to maybe a payout that because you have breached your contract, or your insurance payments will go up. So over a period of time, you will lose a lot of money, and these losses will mount. So which are those industries which are extremely vulnerable to such shocks, unanticipated or anticipated shocks, and which are those industries which are less vulnerable to such shocks? And they found that, of course, aerospace, commercial aerospace is probably the biggest vulnerable industry in the world, because as you would already know, when the COVID pandemic struck, flights were literally parked on large airports. Nobody could use, nobody were flying, and anything happens anywhere, whether it is a volcano going up in one part of the globe, or whether there has been a hijack threat. Somebody can just make a phone call and threaten some airline that the airline might be hijacked. That is enough for large-scale disruptions. So on the other hand, the least vulnerable is the pharmaceuticals. So why are we looking at this? Because we have to now understand and appreciate the need for resilient supply chains. Now, what do you mean by resilient supply chains? These shocks, these large disruptions can sometimes be anticipated, sometimes cannot be anticipated, but an industry or a small firm by itself cannot do much in preventing such shocks. They can only prepare for such shocks. And also, this preparation helps these firms to become resilient. So no matter whatever shock you have felt, you can actually bounce back. How soon can you bounce back? How fast can you bounce back? How effective can you bounce back? This is what is all about resilience. Resilience is not about preventing shocks. Probably it is impossible to do that. Resilience is all about preparing yourself to bounce back from such shocks, so that these shocks, whenever they happen, will not harm you beyond a point. So resilience is all about adaptability. The adaptive capability of a supply chain to reduce the probability of facing sudden disturbances, resist the spread of disturbances by maintaining control over structures and functions, and recover and respond by immediate and effective reactive plans to transcend the disturbance and restore the supply chain to a robust state of operations. So this is a definition given by Kamal Hamadi in his article in 2016. So crucial aspects to supply chain resilience is three important aspects of how you prepare your supply chain. The first important aspect is adaptiveness. How soon can you change? So if you had used one particular supplier for a few crucial components of your product, how much can you change to another supplier? I mean, are your machinery so much geared up to using a certain kind of raw material that nowhere can you change to some other type of raw material? So are you less adaptive? Or on the other hand, your machinery is such that, or your workers are so much well trained that they can use any kind of a raw material. So how adaptive are you? Speed. How fast can you actually meet contingencies caused by a disruption? How fast can you enter into a contract with other suppliers? How fast can you actually operationalize that contract by receiving products or selling products to other suppliers? And the third is how much are these contingency plans approaching the pre-disaster performance? How good is your performance with regard to such contingency plans? These contingency plans are, as they say, a contingency plan, and probably is not something which you have to carry on forever. Maybe we have to, we don't know. But to what extent are these contingency plans matching your pre-disaster performance level? This is the third crucial aspect to your supply chain resilience. So, and related to this aspect is, before we prepare your supply chain for improving its adaptiveness, the speed of adaptiveness and performance level, you have to look at what sort of vulnerabilities are you going to face in preparing for your resilience, preparing for your resilient supply chain. So Petit et al. In 2010 wrote a very interesting paper to list down all the types of vulnerabilities that you face while trying to prepare your firm for managing the risks. So that includes turbulence, deliberate threats, external pressure, resource limits. So you might not have enough budget to prepare for vulnerabilities, sensitivity, importance of carefully controlled conditions for product and process integrity, connectivity. You might be so connected, you might be so dependent on certain suppliers so that you can't just think about something else, a new supplier or a plan B. Or supplier customer disruptions, susceptibility of suppliers and customers to external forces or disruptions. So these are, and they have sub-factors, right? So these are the list of factors. I can't go through all of them because it will take too much time. So these are some of the factors which actually impact a firm's ability to anticipate as well as prepare for disruptions. So how can we develop supply chain resilience? So supply chain resilience typically can be developed using some of these strategies that are already being used in various ways. This includes geographical segregation, which would mean that your key suppliers are not all from one single geographic area. You try to arrange suppliers from different geographical regions so that in one geographical region, if there is a natural disaster like a flood or an earthquake, only that supplier is affected, other suppliers are not affected. That is one possible way to increase supply chain resilience. Surplus inventory. Of course, this will all lead to increase in cost. Geographic segregation will make it difficult to have much better logistics, transportation efficiency. Surplus inventory, for instance, you don't go by the JIT philosophy. You will always have enough surplus inventory so that you can pass over maybe 1 or 2 months of disruptions. Backup supplier contracting, where you will always have some supplier backups, and we will always have a contract such that a backup supplier can be asked to increase the supply of certain crucial components within a very short span of time whenever required. Physical protection, of course, physical protection of your buildings, of your equipments, or of even your key employees. Rerouting, ability to reroute supplies not through different transportation networks, rather than relying only on one transportation network. Restoration budget. So that is a very important thing. Most firms now work with very, very thin budget lines, and they don't have a surplus budget parked somewhere to restore their operations. And not having that kind of a restoration budget can be significantly problematic when you are facing a huge disruption. And do you have the technical resources for restoration? So that is another issue. Maybe you are running your factory or running your production line, and which has got several different machinery or several different equipments. The moment a disaster strikes, like for instance, a huge flood had happened and it recedes, and there is time for restoring your machinery. None of your engineers have that ability to restore it. They all know to operate it, but they do not need to repair it. So do you have the technical resources? Have you banked on some other resource bank to bring back technical resource and restoration? So that is another question that you have to ask. So it will always, be a equilibrium. You can always look at it as an equilibrium. Supply chain resilience, will be there in one end, and supply chain vulnerability will be there at another end. You cannot kind of over prepare yourself so that you spend a lot of resources, spend a lot of money on facing vulnerabilities, but your vulnerability level actually is not so high. So you should not unnecessarily prepare for your vulnerabilities. On the other hand, you should not prepare less for your vulnerabilities. So you might be actually be facing huge level of vulnerability, but your preparation level is very, very low. So as I said, too much of preparation will involve too many resources. At the same time, too less preparation will also mean too much of a risky level of operations. So you should try to strike a balance. So where is that balance? That is the key question that firms now have to think about. It's not something new, but now they are coming back to looking at these issues with a greater level of greater interest. So Petit et al. Again looked at the same issue, the supply chain resilience, vulnerability, equilibrium, by developing a very interesting model, which talks about three types of firms. Firms which are carrying excessive risk, where vulnerability is very high, but capabilities are very less, or a balanced firm where they have matched the vulnerabilities, they have figured out all the possible vulnerabilities, and they have prepared properly, not excessively, not in a limited way also, but properly to balance risks so that they have an improved performance. And the third is eroded profitability, where there is excessive amount of preparation for such disruptions, but there is the vulnerability level is not so high. So you have to look at where you are and how to get into the correct level of preparation for all our vulnerabilities. So that is all that I wanted to talk about. These are the references for what I just mentioned, what I just used. And I'm more than happy to discuss about what I just hinted on.
So I think thank you very much, Professor Sunil, because your paper is really a thoroughly researched one. And this paper and your presentation is really the backbone for this particular conference, because the COVID environment has created or virtually broken the organized supply chain. Now, the COVID has given an opportunity for the marketeers as well as the strategists how to rebuild the marketing strategy in the broken supply chain environment of COVID and post-COVID environment. Your observation and presentation is really will act as a strong base for future strategies of marketing. Thank you very much, in spite of your busy schedule, you're in far away from this country, but still you make it a point to join us and share your talk with us and enlighten the participants. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Reddy, for inviting me to this conference.
Thank you.
And I'm very happy that there are a lot of participants and everybody is interested to look at how the pandemic has changed our ways of looking at efficiency, productivity, our ways of looking at how firms should react and also prepare for such inevitabilities. As I speak, I am reading news reports of huge disruptions that had happened in New York, and how within almost a few minutes or a few hours, entire neighborhoods were flooded, and people were, that's the instance where I said that anticipation is impossible. So, and New Jersey and New York in particular is an area with lot of industries, big concentration of industries, and we don't know. Maybe in another 2 months, we will only now then realize how much that 1 or 2 days of flooding has impacted supply chains world over. Again, another interesting example is about how the shortage for silicon chips from East Asia is impacting the automobile industry. So most of these cars that we drive are as much of a car as much as it is a computer. And it requires huge amount of chips. So during the COVID pandemic, there was a significant growth in the demand for tablets, laptops, and other electronic gadgets. So most of the chip manufacturers redirected their production lines, which manufactures such chips, to manufacture to the domestic laptop and electronics good manufacturing industries, so that they didn't have enough chips to supply to the automobile manufacturers. So now there is a huge problem with manufacturing supply chain lines of cars world over, whether it is Volkswagen or Toyota, or even in India, automobile industry is now thinking whether we can service the demand that is expected in the Diwali season. So these are the things which are now making it very difficult for firms to anticipate and plan. Anybody who would like to contribute to this discussion or ask questions, are more than happy. And I don't know how much time I have before Professor Rao will be speaking.
In case no one is having any questions, we'll just proceed. I take this time to thank all the panel members. Thank you, Professor Vinod Kumar Singh, for throwing insights into different perspective of reimagining marketing through digital transformation, localization, home as a major hub for the decision making. Trust, as you pointed out, is a need of the hour for marketers. The speech was very informative. Thank you, Sridhar sir, for taking us through to how marketers unleash the power of providing experience to the customers, the values consumers are looking for, and the task for marketers were explained with examples. We also learned about the tools that are essential for providing superior experience through customer journey map, empathy map, understanding the steps in building decision. It was good learning for all of us. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Professor Sahadev, for explaining how pandemic has tripled and transformed the supply chain activities to real-time case study. Thank you for throwing insights to supply chain resilience. We had a very informative, knowledgeable, and insightful deliberations by the eminent panel members. We learned a lot of things about post-COVID transformation that are required for business. I take this opportunity to propose vote of thanks. On behalf of Sri Vidyaniketan Institute of Management, I extend my heartfelt thanks to all the panel members for their insightful contributions to the learning community. Thank you all. Now we move on to the technical session. May I request Professor K. Balaji to take over the session.
Thank you, madam. Good afternoon to our Honorable Director, sir, and all the dignitaries, participants, and all my colleagues of Sri Vidyaniketan Institute of Management. Welcome to the technical session 2. Now, today's session chairman is Professor S. Prasad Rao, sir, Director, Teaching Learning Center, Sharada University, Greater Noida, Uttar Pradesh. Prior to the present position, sir acted as a Director, Teaching Learning Director with Center of Learning and Sustainability, Getam University, Director, Academic Affairs, founder
Balaji
team.
Garu?
Sir,
Yeah,
sir.
Balaji Garu.
Sir.
Yeah, I think we will reduce the the bio so that we can save some time. Thank
Yes,
you
sir,
so much. Yeah, carry on. Stop reading about me. Please proceed further.
Yes, sir. So it gives a privilege for us to be a guest for you in the today's session, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Dr.
So,
Balaji. Can I start?
Sir, we welcome you for the today's session. Around 6 participants are going to present their papers on various themes of marketing. We are fortunate and eager to listen from you, sir. Now I request Professor S. Prasad Rao, sir, to address the gathering. Sir, over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Balaji, for few words about me. I'm really very happy to associate with Vidyaniketan Institute of Management, led by Professor Narayana Reddy Garu and his team. I really congratulate and appreciate the efforts being put in by the team led by Professor Narayana Reddy Garu. Fantastic. In this pandemic time also, not keeping quiet, doing fantastic work, making everyone busy with some productive activity, and leading the institute and making the presence felt. That itself is a great thing you are doing. So once again, I congratulate the team led by Professor Narayana Reddy Garu. Coming to the points here, since I need to open the topic, how pandemic is creating new norm for marketing or digital marketing, or what is the new norm for marketing. Friends, till March 2020, people were not thought of even anything which is very disruptive. Of course, Industry 4.0, like that, people started thinking about, VUCA, D-VUCA, D, like that. There are so many terms they were talking about. But very few organizations used to do the webcasting, the Zoom meetings like that. Very, very few. Even some of the management professors, I think Professor Narayana Reddy now knows, were saying that we should move from traditional, method of interacting to the digital way of doing. Long back, at least for the last 10 years, people are advocating, the senior professors are advocating, but nobody has moved because nobody wants to move out of their comfort zone. That's the problem. But anyhow, we are all forced to move from real to the virtual kind of, doing activities. The major drawbacks of the major challenges we are facing is there are no great gatherings, number one. There are no frequent activities that are taking place to promote a product or service, number two. Number three, even if there is any activity, the number is very limited, the scope is very limited, and people are really very much afraid of meeting together. In fact, one of the doctors saying that everyone should come to the workplace and start working while following the COVID protocols. Then only we can bring the kind of the herd immunity. Unless we support, we help, we bring the herd immunity, we cannot, come forward and, take the activities very, very comfortably. So that is what we need to, focus on. And third challenge we are facing in the new, the problem or pandemic situation, there are a lot of distractions. These distractions, not only confined to only customers, even employees. And these are actually leading to retention is very big, tough task now. Retention of the employee is a tough task. Retention of the customer is a tough task. And reorienting the business has become very, very challenging. So there are so many challenges we are facing right now, but we cannot, withdraw. We need to face it. Then how to manage? There it comes to the key. So how we can manage? Only 4 strategies, I believe, that we can manage very well to bring the business onto the right platform. Number 1, we should have digital infrastructure and digital connectivity, because many companies have fantastic, physical infrastructure and intellectual capital. But if we are missing the digital connectivity, the digital infrastructure, it is very, very difficult to get connected with both our employees and customers, because I believe both employees and customers are members of the organization. These two are the major stakeholders of any business organization. So number 1, we should ensure that there is digital connectivity. Number 2, we should have a lot of empathy, because many people, earlier used to sell goods and forget about it. But nowadays, there are so many sources where you can get the reviews. Unless you are empathetic, unless you meet the expectations of the customers, you cannot find your place in the market. Then the third one is localizing in terms of language, culture, tradition. Recently, one of the AICT members, Dr. Chandrasekhar Buddha, has developed an app, which is actually using artificial intelligence tool to convert one language into 16 languages, 16 Indian languages. So it can be reached to any kind of, location, geography, person, culture, anything. And that is what going to happen in the days to come. And people, the businesses should be ready to do that kind of inventions or innovations. And fourth important thing is holding the brands accountable. If we are not able to hold the brands accountable, we cannot hold the market. We may lose the market. And it is very difficult to capture the market. Recapturing market is not that easy. I think Professor, just before me, Professor is talking about the retention strategies of Nokia. Though one of the market leaders at one point of time in the handsets, but now there is no more Nokia at all in the market. There are so many other smartphones, replaced with Nokia handset. So once lost forever. That's the problem. And additional strategies, I believe that whatever the infrastructure or digital infrastructure we have, we should focus on accelerating the virtual operations. Number 1. Number 2, expediting the business agility. The flexibility is very, very important. And another important thing is catalyzing the digital-led growth, because there are so many, platforms. I think Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. Every employee should behave like a brand ambassador. Every person of the business should act as a marketing, professional. See, marketing does not mean we can go to market and sell the product or service. It's all about communicating. Communicating. That's what we are doing. Every person from the business, from the organization, should educate other person that what he or she is doing, how they are different from the rest, and how effective they are catering to the needs, how cheap or how cost effective. Like that, they need to speak, and everyone is like an ambassador. In fact, I think Professor Reddy sir may be agreeing with me that internal marketing is more important, apart from the external marketing, because internal marketing will make the employees proud. What is that organization they are working? What kind of organization? What is the product? Supremacy. And everyone talks about their own product wherever they go. And it will create a very, very positive impact among the other institutions and bring a lot of customers. And most importantly, everyone is having nowadays, a social media account like Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Insta, Pinterest. Everyone should be a part of that. And everyone should talk about, everyone should share. Also, we should learn from others. See, learning from our own experiences is not sufficient. We should learn from others' experiences. Then only we can learn more than anybody else. So with this, I stop it here. I now welcome the participants to make their presentation. Thank you once again for giving me such a wonderful opportunity to see everyone here. Thank you so much. Balaji Garu, over to you.
Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you for giving the enriching information to our participants. Sir, now I request the participants to present their papers, sir. So the first participant is Swati Kumari Madam, Assistant Professor from Mahatma Gandhi Central University of Bihar. Madam is going to present paper on consumer awareness and attitude towards green products, a study from Indian context in new normal, sir. So, Swati Kumari Madam, you can present your paper, Madam.
Am I audible to all?
Yes, Madam. Yes, Madam, you are audible, Madam.
A very warm good evening to one and all present in this conference. Thanks to the organizing for giving us the platform to share our ideas and thoughts, and also get some deep insights about what is happening in the current scenario. Like Professor S.P. Sahu sir already gave a wonderful insight about the new normal life and how we are inculcating with this. Thank you, sir. And I also want to thank all and everyone for accepting my this idea in their conference. So my title of my presentation, sir, you can share my PPT, sir. Yes. Is this visible to all? I believe, right?
Visible, Madam.
Okay. So the consumer awareness and attitude towards green products is a study from Indian context about in the new normal. As we all have witnessed this in this new pandemic era, that how we have faced issues like a poor health, like not proper hygiene. Some of these factors are also somehow leading towards the a greater extent of this pandemic. So if we are used to, kind of a life that very much essential for today's scenario, then must have we have not come across this much. Hello? Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, Madam. Yes, Madam.
Okay, so you can forward my slide up to the next slide. Actually, I want to cover in the slide like what is the introduction about these green products and the consumer attitudes and environmental friendly products, and then a bit insight about the review of literature.
Yes, Madam.
Swati Madam, you have muted yourself. You have muted.
Unmute yourself.
Madam, please unmute yourself, Madam.
Is this okay?
Yes,
no.
madam. Yes.
Okay. So first of all, I want to let you know about the concept of green product. Like in today's scenario, people are well used to about the new brand images and commercial products that has been, in good turnovers. But due to this pandemic and due to shift in the global environment and due to this global warming and depletion of resources, everybody is concerning about the environment, and they are preferring somehow eco-friendly things. So this is the new era where people are shifting their taste from existing products or services to the eco-friendly products. So what exactly this green product is? It is all about having the qualities which will protect not only our environment, it will also protect our health, our society from unwanted harmful things. Like it may be in a number of terms, it may be in terms of health, it may be in terms of our surroundings that we are having wherever we are living. So now what scenario is happening now, the existing corporates also and the new startups also, somehow they are shifting their businesses towards green businesses, or their existing products they are shifting into green products, because as we can see, the number of transactions in the green products is increasing day by day, and there is a huge potential for the corporates also as well as for customer also to have the experiences from this new organic products that is now available in the market. So as per Hannes 2017, he beautifully explained that nowadays the corporates executives, they are talking about the products or environment which is extremely good for the society and for the customers. So it gave the concept like green consumerism in the market. So what exactly green consumerism is? So green consumerism is being a multifaceted concept, which is including the protection and the preservation of the environment, and also concern about how to decrease the pollution. The pollution may be of any kind, the noise, the air, the water, all kind of pollutions. It is also with regard to the animals' welfare and also the species preservation, and also the responsible use of non-renewable resources. So when the companies and the customers, they are becoming used to about this new concept of green eco-friendly environment or eco-friendly products, they are concerned about the welfare of society as a whole, which include each and everyone, animals, species, the human race, everyone. So now the government as well as the public partnership relationship, NGOs, they are focusing upon the generating the awareness toward healthier lifestyle. As now we have, it is almost 2 years now, we have, we are in this pandemic era, and now we are more concerned about our health rather than the materialistic things, rather than the brand, or rather than the products that is having good, brand images or something like that. Now we are shifting towards our taste to healthier lifestyles. We are health conscious now. We are opting for life. Hello. We are getting aware somehow about the negative effects of using chemical-based products. So it may be in the personal care products or in the itineraries, everything. So review the existing literatures. They also somehow given the importance that the attitude of consumers are, in number of studies we have found that somehow the attitudes of consumers is positively related towards the emotional attachment to the environmental issues. If we talk to them about the environmental issues that is happening in this scenario, they are somehow emotionally giving concentration or emotionally giving their thoughts about a particular issues. So it is near about in the era of 1990, 1995 or in the 2000, this under this, because number of studies have quoted this. So the environment concerns of customers, they have correlated these awareness, these concern of customer into number of values or number of components. These components is related to the self-concern. We call it egoistic values. So when we are self-concerned about the things, we call it egoistic values. That's why we are shifting towards the green products. The second one is concern for other people. Like we are concerned about the life of others in our surroundings. Then it is concern of, it talks about altruistic values. And the next, we are concerned about biosphere. So it is biospheric values. So these components somehow create a concern of a customer towards environment issues. So with this, the behavior of purchasing behavior of customer is also improving with regard to the environment, and the health consciousness is also somehow influencing the attitude of customer towards green products. Now there are some studies which are based upon the awareness of green products. On a concluding remarks, these all studies are saying that somehow if we talk about the source of this awareness regarding green products, so this mass media is playing an important role. The other thing is that somehow the lack of standards and poor quality of products and their side effects also make the customer to shifting their taste towards the organic things. But now the ethnic-oriented customer not only demands fairly traded products, but also to meet this demand, the manufacturers and retailers also somehow they are facing the ethical claims that they make about their products. So some false things are also be there. So my slide is up to research methodology. I'll wind up in a short period. So objective of my study is to study the consumer awareness about the green products and to measure the perception of consumer towards the green products. The methodology is based on the questionnaire basis, and the sample size is 130, and the sample description means the sample, I have selected the sample of people that are visiting supermarket customers. And I have taken convenient sampling, and survey method has been opted for my study. And the area of study is like East Champaran district of Bihar. So there are some results like demographic profile. If we talk about the respondents, males ratio is comparatively lower side as compared to the females, and the age group is maximum the respondents belongs to the category of age group from 21 to 30, and the occupational wise majority of respondents are working in the private sector, followed by public sector and self-employed, and rest of the others like some into the public partnership, other kind of things like laborers and all. And the average income of the respondents is like less than 10,000. It is a poor Bihar, we all know that is somehow a poor state after UP. So the comparatively the monthly average income of the respondent is less than 10,000, and followed by the monthly income 10,000 to 20,000 rupees. So I have put the question in yes or no format. I have asked them as in a scheduled format. So the awareness, like a number of, I have asked them whether you are aware about these green products. Some of are they aware, like they have heard about these products, and I think there is a big mistake in my reading. Anyways, some of them are little aware about the products, like the ratio of 31 respondents are only respondents. They have a few knowledge about the green products. And I have also done whether you are agree that whether these green products are eco-friendly or eco-friendly products. Yes, 36 of the respondents are agree that the green products are eco-friendly products, and others are quite confused with this statement. And with the existing studies, these are the sources of green products. I have asked them that what kind of resources they are using, or from where they are getting the information about the green products. So majority of are agreeing that television is the main source of information from where they are getting the information or awareness about the green products. So channel, if we talk about the channel of a media, that is the television. So attitudes, if we talk about what are the motives they are using for green products, I mean, what motives them to use green products in the life. Some of that, like 46% of the 46 respondents are of opinion that they are concerned for their health. That's why they are using this motive as using the concern for health is the main motto of using their using the green products. And the others are of the opinion that because of status, because of environment and the quality are the other aspect they are discussing, they are using the green product. So on an average, it has been observed that the respondent have high prospects of environmental friendly products, and this is somehow a good hope for the future prospect of green products. The perception of respondents on green products, more than 65% of the respondents are agree. I have used the Likert scale also for few statements. On the basis of that, the results are like more than 65% of respondents are agree that green products have lots of benefits, because there are lots of benefit attached to the green products, use of green products. And the 55% of respondents also agree that green products are not waste of money, but there are also a percentage of respondents, those who are disagree with this opinion also. And the second one, and the last one is the highest support to green products is made through buying items. If you buy items, it will give a higher support to the uses of more green products. And if this is also followed by the other item, like eco label should be introduced by the government to promote green products more and more. Like 34% of people are agree that if eco labeling should be there on the environment, on the products, it will be also support for promotion of green products. It will also somehow, pinch the perception or attitude of the customers. And these are some recommendations on the basis of my study. Like most of the respondents are having little awareness about green products. So public partnership is required to boost the awareness. As we have found through our study that television is the main channel from which the information is disseminating into the to the ultimate customers. So the more campaigning should be there from the government side as well from the corporate side, so that people get aware about the benefits of green products. So as we know that now people are starting shifting towards green or organic products. So there is a huge scope for future prospects of green products, as because findings also state that majority of respondents have positive attitudes towards the green products. So for this, I want to conclude. I am still working on this concept. So I welcome all your suggestions and opinions for the improvement of my study. So now I request all of you to have your queries and the suggestions. Hello, I am audible.
You are very much audible, madam. Your paper is very good, and in the post-COVID environment, I am sure that green products have more value, and there is a need to develop the new strategies in the post-COVID environment, and having a new strategies also. Good approach.
Thank you, madam. You have presented well. Very good presentation, madam. So now I request our panel technical session chairman to give remarks on the presentation, to review the presentation.
Who is me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, actually, my part has been done by Professor Narayana Reddy, sir. I echo with him. In fact, I'm also about to say the same thing. Madam has, focused on what is required as of now. Green marketing, green products, green, go green, and the government of India through various schemes also encouraging this kind of, thing. And in the days to come, we are going to see a lot of green. So going green is the new normal. It is forced normal. Okay. Yeah. All the best, madam. Wonderful. Let us invite the next person.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite Asma madam. Asma madam and Neha Thakur madam, who is a faculty of commerce from Sarojini Naidu Vanita Mahila Vidyalaya College, Hyderabad, who are going to present paper on affiliation of blockchain technology in marketing industry. Madam, you are welcome to give presentation, madam. Asma Begum, madam. Madam, please unmute yourself, madam.
Yeah, I have.
Yes, madam. You are given 5 minutes time. So within 5 minutes, you can complete your presentation, madam.
Allow me to share the PPT, sir.
Yes, madam. I am giving the option. Yes, madam. You can present now, madam.
Just a minute, sir. It's opening. After that, I'll. Hope this is visible.
No, madam. Your screen is not visible, madam.
Now, is it?
No, madam.
I'm sharing my screen, sir.
It is not visible, madam.
I'm sharing my screen.
It is not visible, madam.
Eight minutes, sir. I don't know what is happening, but I'm sharing my screen. Now, is it visible, sir?
No, madam.
Otherwise, you can mail to Dr. Balaji. He will share on your behalf.
Yes, madam. You can mail, madam. You can mail, madam.
No,
Yeah,
just I'm sharing.
In the
On
meantime,
WhatsApp,
next person may be called for.
Okay, by the time you can give the opportunity to someone else, I will be sharing.
Yes, madam. Yes, madam. Yes, madam. You can share
That's
to me.
great.
Later on,
Sorry
you
for
will begin.
inconvenience.
No, madam. No, madam. Now I request Tejaswini.
Yes, sir.
Please to present the screen. To provide
Yeah, okay,
presentation.
sir.
Yes. Share PPT.
Balaji Garu, you can make them co-host.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that they can comfortably share.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Yes, yes, ma'am.
sir, make the co-host as Joyce, ma'am, sir. My presentation is with
Yes,
ma'am,
yes,
sir.
yes, 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 yes.
Okay, sir.
Done. Joyce, madam, you can share your screen, madam. Joyce, madam.
So good evening, everyone.
Please proceed.
Sir, it's audible, sir.
Yes, 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 ma'am. Please, sir.
Good evening, everyone. My topic is about a study on women's perception towards Johnson & Johnson. About the introduction of the company, the Johnson & Johnson is an American multinational corporate company. It is founded in 1886, 11th October. It is the world's sixth largest health company. It develops with the three main categories on the basis of medical, pharmaceutical, and consumer packaged goods. It is the most valuable company in the world. It is in the headquarters of New Brunswick and New Jersey. It has 250 subsidiary companies and 6 countries. Operations are controlled the products in 175 countries all over the world. So it's not visible, the slide, sir.
Joyce, madam.
It deals with the main factors that brand perception, brand image, brand satisfaction, and brand quality, and brand preference. Brand perception. Brand perception means what customer believes and product services represents, and not what the company or knowing the brand says it does. Brand perception varies from one person to another person. It deals with a different way of presenting about the product. Brand image. Brand image, it is a perception of the brand in the mind of the customer. It enables in the mind when the customer buys a product or chooses a product. Brand satisfaction. Brand satisfaction gives a person with a different way of comfortableness and a good feel to be happy when the customer uses that product. Brand quality. It is a perception of the quality that a brand achieves with its customer's quality is often as defined with the meeting of expectation of the customers. Quality, it defines with a good way of reaching the customers with the better quality and improvement. Preferences. And in this generation, the preferences are so many. The preferences want to be reached by the people, and the product will be very good in the society and the people's perception. Next slide, ma'am. Literature review. The literature review is study on women's perception. Sir?
Can you hear me?
Sir?
You can proceed
Yeah,
with the
sir.
objectives and you complete within 5 minutes, please.
Yeah, sure, sir. The main main objective of the study is to analyze the buying the decisions towards quality, image, promotion, preference, and satisfaction. Quality gives the best essence to buy the product. Images imagine when the customer buys. Promotion is a main important thing to deal with the customer. And preferences, when the preferences are many things, the product must be very good of the point of view in the perception of the customer. And the satisfaction is the main thing that the customer want to deal with. To know the quality, promotion, and the image of the Johnson & Johnson has a significant impact on the present of preferences of the customer. To determine the quality, promotion, and the image has a significant impact, the impact must be very good and the satisfaction of the customers must be reached. The scope of the study, the study is mainly taken in the Chittoor district and mainly concentrated on women's perception. The scope of the study is women's regarding the best quality products in the market for their babies, whether they are choosing the best products for their babies or not. Limitations. The limitations of the study is the area of the study is confined only on Chittoor district. The survey of the sample is 500 respondents. The accuracy of the study depends on the data provided by the respondents. The respondent views and the opinions may vary. It may changes in the present or future. The study is limited to collect the data from the women. Need of the study. To understand the customer's brand perception on the quality, image, promotion, preference, satisfaction towards Johnson & Johnson, how well they are got satisfied with the service provided by the Johnson product. The service is the main thing that feels a customer wants to buy more and more. Service is the main thing that satisfies the customer. The study mainly focuses on the customer priority. Priority will be changes by the present towards the future. The study analyzes the buying decision of the Johnson products will be easier for the customers to choose the branded products. Next slide, ma'am. Statement of the problem. To know the woman's perception towards the brand baby products, in these days the products are increasing and the preferences are changing. It is a main thing it deals with it. It also helps to find whether the products are reaching up to the expectation of the customer or not. To suggest a customer about the Johnson & Johnson products or the best quality for the babies, and also how the company can increase awareness about the Johnson & Johnson products to the customers. Products are increasing, the preferences are changing day by day of the customer's thinking. The research methodology deals with the primary data and the secondary data. Primary data taken by the way in the questionnaire form by using the Google Forms in the digital platform. Secondary data is collected from previous projects, documents, research, journals. Tools used: regression analysis and ANOVA. And findings. Johnson & Johnson is a free from harmful chemicals, safeguards from rashes, allergies, and not the adults. We can also use for the adults. It is the best product that we can use for the adults also. It has a difficulty in imagining the product in mind when buying the product. Elder people, we can't imagine the product because the same we are not having special references special preference and a special emblem for the choosing the brand. Johnson & Johnson is only brand suits for the adults to use. Johnson & Johnson is only for the first thought comes in mind when purchasing of the product. This is the only decision that don't make suggestions. Suggestions to improve the labeling and packaging. We want to develop for the awareness and the purchasing product. Lacking of the advertisement and need to increase awareness as to reach the illiterates. Recognition of Johnson & Johnson in rural area as well. Improving of the marketing campaigns and develop the business. And not but not the least, conclusion. Johnson & Johnson is having the special feeling in hearts. They can't replace with any other product by these generation products. Governments choose Johnson & Johnson products because they're having a homely feel and a feel-good product. It has a perception of understanding women towards a brand. Thank you so much for this best opportunity to present my paper. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Tejasvi. You have done a good presentation. Now I request Professor Prasad Rao sir to review the presentation.
Actually, I think Madam has done wonderful effort, and she can fine-tune this for even publication also. The problem here is actually Johnson & Johnson is known for baby care products. In fact, everyone, instead of calling the product by whatever the brand, they say by Johnson & Johnson. They bring the Johnson baby powder. They can say baby powder, but they say Johnson & Johnson baby powder like that. So the quality has the product, brand has been penetrated into market like that. It's a wonderful study. You can actually further it, for the best paper also. At this point of time, I'll stop it here. Let us go to the next person.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Asma Begum, madam, to give the presentation.
Yes, sir. Now.
Yes, madam. Yes, madam. You can give your presentation. Yes, madam. You can proceed, madam.
Is it visible, sir?
Yes, madam. Visible.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for giving us this opportunity. And this paper we have done in collaboration. Our research paper is on affiliation of blockchain technology in marketing industry. How, as we all know, the marketing and management are extremely linked. Marketing and marketing management. Everybody, like we are, for every transaction, we are fully dependent on the social media and the digital environment. We are using the digital environment to disclose our transaction, to complete our desired transaction, and based on that only firms brand marketing competitive and the demanding environment as a result of the digital marketing and advertising. But to proceed with that, we require the blockchain technology to fill up some payment, to make some payment. We are using the blockchain technology. That is, actually we don't know what is blockchain technology, but I will tell you what is blockchain technology. It is a peer-to-peer network which is on the top of the internet, and it is launched in the year 2008 as it is a part of the proposal of the Bitcoin. So blockchain technology plays a very important role while recording the information that will be impossible to change, and nobody can be hack or cheat that information. Why? Because it will be centralized, and it will be a digital ledger that can be not at all duplicated or distributed according to the entire network of the computer system on the blockchain. So it will be just sharing this system by the peer-to-peer network, and it will be recorded, it which we're having the very much security, and this does not have the exist publicly. Even if this blockchain technology exists broader than the finance, and the intermediary is replaced by the verification, the ecosystem, what is the degree of traceability, and huge impact will be there over the network. However, the marketing management is managing very well this technology to complete their monetary transaction as well as the many other aspects. How these are the some key terms that we are using to fill up the to showcase the blockchain technology, how it will be actually using so by these we can have the decentralization. It means that the individual can have the control to transfer their networking effort to the another member, but for that we require the user id that can be have to the security that we are sharing the peer-to-peer network. Even it will be show even it will be show the huge privacy, because for to disclose this privacy we require cryptography keys, and who only these keys will be held by the user's network only. And even this is the very reliability will be shown by this blockchain technology, as it is maintained by the all the active network. So there will be no chance that we can get some information like we can done some cheat over the network. Why? Because it will be fully secure and it can have the huge influence over the peer team network. So before changing anything else, we required the correspondence user ID number so that we can be reliably share the information to peer-to-peer network. Even though it will also have the immutability where we cannot manipulate any data, or we already whatever the blockchain data is already recorded that we unable to change that data. There will be n number of transactions will be recorded in the form of the smart contracts, which can be created by the programmers by themselves only. Nobody can be create the data from the anyone else. With the help of the network only we can able to change some data, but it is having a very less chances that we can be change that data, and it's very trust enabling system that we are using in today's world. Why? Because we are living in digital era. For any kind of payment, for to maintain any network with the other country members, we required the technology. For that we are using some other technology to share the network, to maintain the connection between the one system to another system. We are completely depend on some technology that is nothing but the blockchain technology. Why? Because it will be giving the minimal chances to change this data. With the help of the user id only we can able to be share those data. Now here, if at all we want to share the network with the ownership effect, we require some token efforts from the corresponding user id, and it also have the ability to process. For a new firm, if I would like to start a new firm, to democratize that thing, first of all I require the blockchain technology that only they can be processed. What is the process will be there of that firm? Based on that the technology only we can able to decide it. And this is also while using this system, the user can have some monetary incentives. With that I'll stop. As a result of that, blockchain technology plays a very vital role in developing the digital environment. With this I'm stopping now. Next continue by my co-author Neha Thakur.
Good evening to one and all. Am I audible, sir?
You are audible.
Proceed,
madam.
So, okay, my name is Thakur Neha and a co-author to the paper Affiliation of Blockchain Technology in Marketing Industry. As my colleague has already explained about what is blockchain technology and a few things which we are using in that technology, I would like to continue with the research objectives. So, moving on to the objectives, we have conducted the study to know the concept of blockchain technology and the marketing industry, and our purpose is to find out and investigate and analyze the role of blockchain technology in the marketing industry. So we tried to find out that concept and to analyze the role, what is the role played by blockchain technology in the marketing industry. Moving on to the significance of study, the research is being significant because it is going to provide us for the base for future research on the subject of blockchain technology in the marketing area. More, and as we are seeing that the blockchain technology is being evolving, and because of the digital transactions which are continuously going on because of the current situation, the pandemic and all. We are seeing that there is a rise in the digital transactions and all. So this is going to help us with the concept. And moving on to the research methodology, this study is descriptive in nature, and the data is collected through the secondary sources, and it has been collected from various websites, reputed journals, articles. This is secondary and descriptive. Then moving on to the application, definitely as we are seeing that blockchain technology is used in vast ranges. It is being used for payments, business to business payments, business to consumer payments. It is being used in supply chain management. It is being used in marketing management and loyalty programs. It is being used definitely in the digital marketing, and for reviewing and credit for reviewing the management and all. And it has been seen that blockchain technology is playing a vital role in transactions and dealing with the transactions. Moving on to the conclusion part, I would like to conclude that as we are seeing that because of the increasing my study concludes that because of the increasing use of blockchain, there is a prospect of future study. And here we are having that customers can also become the consumption part of the consumption side. Not only consumption side, they're also going for the like they also want to become a business brand ambassador. They also want to owe the business. So it is becoming easy for them also to involve in all this, because blockchain is providing us with increased trust and all. So here for future prospects and study, I would definitely say that there are future prospects for this study, because blockchain technology, we can, as we are seeing that we can evolve and we can study about these aspects. As we are having increased trust in blockchain, it is providing us security, it is providing transparency and traceability of data, and it is also providing a lot of reliability, as we are seeing that no errors and omissions has been made. Clear data will be provided, a clear picture of the transactions will be given. So it is going to give us a lot of scope is there to find out about the prospects. So thank you. I would like to thank everyone for giving us this opportunity and selecting our paper. Thank you so much.
Yeah, madam, you have selected a wonderful topic. There is no doubt. This is very innovative topic you have taken, particularly in marketing. Using blockchain technologies is a great, idea. In fact, most of the financial transactions, most of the companies are helping, integrating AI, machine learning, etc., into these transactions. And your idea is very good, but you need to correct your, the terminology. Marketing is not industry. Marketing is a function, one of the functions of, management. So not to worry, this is one of the functional areas of management, not its industry. And the idea is good, and show with the results, I think you can make a difference. All the best. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite our next participant, Dr. P. Karthikeyan, Associate Professor, and from Department of Management Studies, Periyar University, and Yogambal N, part-time research scholar from Department of Management Studies, Periyar University, to give presentation on title, Current Technology Scenarios in Marketing. Madam, over to you, madam.
Yeah, sir. Thank you.
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
So good evening. Good evening to one and all present over here for this wonderful virtual platform. And I'm Yogambal, research scholar from Periyar University, PG Extension Center, Dharmaburi. And my domain area is HR, but I want to try in the marketing side, what is the current technology scenarios in marketing. So my study deals with the recent technology people use in the marketing field, because the outburst of the pandemic has brought tremendous changes for the betterment of the people and to ensure the better services and to all clients, customers, and patients in various forms. So through this, the people will come to know the technology changes, what has happened recently, and also the future path the technology which will take this marketing field. So it take place in the commercial interactions between the people and the businesses. The future trend is going to be in a virtual assistance. The objective of the study, it deals with where it throw the light about the recent technologies that emerged during this outburst of the pandemic, and some of the technologies which arose before the pandemic also, and it shows the scope for the few research questions where these technology plays the role. So the major technologies I am going to deal with this are artificial intelligence. It analyzes the data and it also figure out the behavioral changes. It recognizes voice chat commands, and so it works like a human. It interact with the other machines and it also control them. So the companies which make use of the artificial intelligence are Alibaba, Amazon, and Google. The next one is the machine learning. It focuses on probable outcomes of a situation which needs hard programming outcomes. It helps the financial people in rating the credit worthiness, and it also combines the multiple features and it customizes the people's need also. So the machine learning, it is very useful to the firms in the way of identification of the patterns in consumer behavior. And it can able to build models to predict future behavior, and the preferences of customers can be known. So what will be the pros able to peers consensus protocol where users should authenticate through algorithm. So this blockchain in research related to doing the research related to the blockchain options. So the benefits where it goes to the firm, they can able to get the greater trust in the brand due to the higher traceability of the products. The next advantage, they can able to get help safeguard individual consumers identities, because we are consumer side. By getting the trust, we can able to keep a cordial relationship with the people, where we are in a position to share the information related to that. Next, the smart mirror, it's of related to small retail and that individual customers. Here also the technology plays a major role. It recognizes the voice and the facial recognition, which provides the output suggesting that they can be ordered directly from the online shopping. So the H&M, which is making use of it in the New York flagship, and they are doing the wonderful business. Augmented reality AR, it allows the online purchasers to try before they buy it. L'Oreal, we can take the example of L'Oreal Modiface. It allows the customer to digitally try on makeup through the brand's app, where the people can able to get to various styles or choices before they are going to get the products and spending the money, particularly during this outburst time. And the next is the virtual footwear, to make the shoe retailers experience more interactive using the virtual potential. So the editors making use of this, and it is giving a wonderful support in trying and providing the service. The next one is chatbot. It is a software application used to conduct an online chat conversation via text or text to speak. So Uber is doing that, and where the people can able to make use of the service by creating a chatbot app, and the potential customers can connect by scanning a driver's business card. So all these things, the emerging technologies, not only going to create the impact related to the marketing field, but the impact what it is going to create in the future, the platform what they are going to travel in the near future, give ways for our domain like HR or finance, or the combination of finance and the HR, where the like the research questions related to that after the reviews, whether the blend of the technology is possible, whether they can go and adapt only one technology. These types of the areas are going to be the predominant area in the future. How the resources can be obtained, what sort of the security measures we are in need, and we are in the traveling path related to that to safeguard the consumers. So these are all the trendy topics related to the marketing field in the next near future for some of the day. Thank you so much, sir, for providing me the opportunity.
నిన్న రెస్పాన్స్ వచ్చాయి 62 60 ప్లస్ వచ్చాయి.
Thank you, sir.
I think this paper is very, very meaningful and very good presentation also.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, good. I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure this paper qualifies even for publication. You made it very, very professional way also, madam. All the best.
Thank you
good
so
luck.
much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for your suggestion.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your wonderful remarks, sir. We are blessed to have a eminent personality like you to give the beautiful words. Thank you, madam. Now I am going to give closing remarks of the session. First and foremost, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to today's panel speakers and panelists, Dr. G.P. Sudhakar sir, Mr. Sandeep Budraja sir, Professor Vinod Kumar Singh sir, Flight Lieutenant M. Sridhar Chakravarti sir, and Professor Sunil Sahadev sir, and Professor S.S. Prasad Rao sir, for enlightening our participants with valuable insights in the recent trends in marketing. My deepest gratitude goes to all who attended today's program and helped it a successful event. Thank you all. Now today's session comes to an end, and we will meet tomorrow. We have various eminent personalities from the field tomorrow, like Professor Dhananjay Kumar Singh sir from IMT Hyderabad, and Mr. Venugopal Gupta sir, ex-general manager from Hindustan Aeronautical Limited, and Professor I.C. Gupta sir, ex-dean management and tourism, DA University Indore, and Mr. Ajay Arora sir, associate vice president, Hero Enterprise, and also Mr. Mekot NK, professor, Goa Institute of Management, and also in order to address valedictory session, Professor Mithleswar Jha, Professor Emeritus, IIM Bangalore. So they are going to give their valuable talks in the tomorrow session. Thank you all. So thanks to Prasad Rao sir for giving the opportunity to address the gathering. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir.
So thank you very much, Prasad Rao Garu, for
Yes, sir.
accepting our invitation.
Thank you,
And
sir.
I'm very happy that you are there, and thanks to all the people. So congratulations to my team for having done the second day successfully. And we can meet tomorrow at 2 o'clock as usual. And we can have an expert speakers tomorrow also. You can join for the program. Thank you very much.
Now I request participants to fill the feedback form that was shared in the chat box. We are going to share the feedback form in WhatsApp group also. You can fill it. Thank you all. Have a great day.
These are